Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto Yugioh arc V in Yugioh. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by EVILDRAGONLORD 101 link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Duel and Cards by Jack Dark. The sun began to shine over Paradise City, the birthplace of action duels which had taken dueling to extraordinary new heights. Duelists could move alongside their monsters, fly through the skies, ride the seas. Many duel schools lay spread out through the area, and at the center of them all was the Leo Institute, the cream of the crop, with its very tower overlooking the entire city. The tower wasn't the only thing overlooking the scene, however. Standing over the hills at the outskirts of the city was young boy. His face was covered by the hood of his tattered poncho, hiding his face in the shadows. A single sharp blue eye was revealed looking towards the city before him. So this the Paradise City, huh? It certainly looks different from back home in Konoha, that's for sure. I can't sense any chakra coming from these people either. The boy said as he made his trek through the streets of the city. Well, what do you think of this place, Naruto? A voice asked, catching the boy's attention. It's nothing special, I'm just here for this tournament, that's all, after that I'm taking off. Naruto replied. And the other thing? The voice asked. That will be taken care of soon enough. Naruto replied as he walked on. Neglect. That was what Naruto Uzumaki had experienced every day of his life since the day he turned 5 years old. Naruto was born the eldest of 4 siblings, his sister Natsumi, his brother Menma, and his sister Mito. The children were all born to Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. They lived in the village Konoha, a village built around the feudal eras of the shinobi, where war was raged between the 5 great nations that forged these lands. Those times murder and bloodshed were commonplace. But over time the times of blades and blood was replaced with the era of cards as the game of duel monsters was born. While I do understand where you're coming from, don't forget why we are truly here. The voice said as Naruto nodded in response. Of course, after all, it was that reason that I got to meet you and the others. Naruto replied as he thought back to how it all started. Flashback. The 7-year-old Naruto walked through the streets Konoha, a village that is surrounded by trees, but even though the technology has been developing rapidly, thanks to the dual disc which allowed them to expand other technology as well. For the last 2 years he has been neglected by his parents and bullied by Menma, Mito and their friends as well. Natsumi hasn't even bothered to talk to him, so he can tell that she doesn't care about him. Every time he has asked his parents for training or Eve tips, they would brush him aside like a pest. It annoyed him to no end. As Naruto continued to walk, he would always see people glaring at him contempt and shame, and he can hear others whispered or just say out loud, since they think it's the truth. There he is. One of the people from the crowd said. Ugh, just look at him. Disgrace to his family. How dare he call himself Lord Fourth Son? Why can't he be like Lord Menma and ladies Natsumi and Mito? Naruto took off running from there, not being able to listen to the villagers anymore. The villagers always do this. They always treat me like this for as long as I can remember, Naruto thought as he ran. He didn't know where, but he didn't care. He just didn't care anymore about this village or anyone in it. Unknown dimension. The screams of innocent people echoed as their streets were lit on fire and buildings crumbled away as flames raged. That fool Leo Akaba, we should kill him where he stands before he brings this disaster to reality. A voice said as a shadow with red aura growled. The fool's idiotic crusade is going to cause a great imbalance in the dimensions. A second voice said, covered by a yellow aura. Yes, he must be dealt with quickly lest he brings great destruction upon this world. A third said, covered by green aura. I agree, I suggest we must take action immediately before this happens. A fourth voice said with a yellow aura. We can't, you know our laws. We are not allowed to directly interfere with any of the dimensions. A purple aura said. Then are you suggesting that we stand back and watch as this madman tears apart the dimensions? A pink aura asked. While it is true that we cannot directly interfere. A blue aura said as the rest of the auras turned to the blue one, that doesn't mean that we can't give our powers to one who can help. The blue aura continued. Are seriously suggesting that we give our powers in the form of our card forms to a human? A green aura asked. We have no choice, besides, I already found someone who is the perfect human to wield our card forms. The blue aura said as the rest turned to each other and nodded in agreement. Very well, we will trust your judgment, Chronodran, I just hope that you are right. A crimson aura said as the blue aura Chronodran nodded. Don't worry, I know I'm right. Chronodran said as the 12 auras vanished. In Konoha. It was nighttime in Konoha with the full moon shining. Naruto found himself deep within the forest by the lakeside after running here by accident. Since he didn't care where he ran to, he just wanted to get away from the villagers' glares and words. He is looking off into the deep waters, lamenting if this was going to be his fate forever cast aside in favor of his siblings. Naruto skipped rocks over the water looking off into distance, just as he was about to toss another pebble off, he took notice of a second rock skipping along. Naruto was surprised by this and turned his head to see a small figure standing behind next to him dressed in a white cloak. Naruto greeted. Hello. The figure greeted cheerfully. My name's Naruto. Naruto said. Hi Naruto, I'm Chrono Dran, but you can call me Dran, it's nice to meet you. Dran said before he removed his cloak, which shocked Naruto as he saw a small blue dragon boy with gold arm and leg armor. On his neck he wears a red scarf and on his forehead he has a red jewel. On his back are two small jets about half his height. His feet and tail have wheels on them. Are you a dual spirit? Naruto asked. I am. I'm amazed that you can see me. Dran said. I've been able to see spirits since as long as I can remember. Naruto said. Wow, that's pretty cool. Dran said, floating around Naruto. Hey Naruto, let's play together. He asked excitedly. Naruto was surprised by Dran's enthusiasm as he grabbed the boy's hand and pulled him up, dragging him along to play some games together. Naruto looked around the forest till he came by a large oak tree and looked up to see Dran waving from above. Dran ran around the forest with Naruto chasing after him with smiles on their faces. The two youngsters splashing each other playing in the pond together. Naruto and Dran are laying on their backs next to each other looking up at the night sky. What was so much fun, Dran? Naruto said gratefully. Yeah, I had fun as well, I'm glad that I choose you. Dran replied. Yeah, I choose you. Dran said with a happy expression before he shifted to a serious expression. You see, the dimensions are in danger. Dran said as suddenly 11 beams of light appeared in a circle around the pair, surprising Naruto, and soon 11 robot animals appeared. Naruto is now fully shocked by the robot animals that suddenly appeared. You see Naruto. Dran said as Naruto turned to him again, I have chosen you to save the dimensions. Naruto raised an eyebrow with a curious and confused look. Save the dimensions? Naruto asked confused. Yes, you see, a madman will cause horrible events in the future. Dran said as he raised his arms as a white sphere appeared and visions started playing. Naruto was horrified by what he was watching. Duel monsters are destroying buildings, houses, parks and roads. The duelists that are wearing blue, red and yellow coats are sealing people into cards. That's how can anyone do that? Naruto asked, horrified by what he just watched. The sphere vanished as Dran turned to him. Yes, it is, innocent lives will be destroyed, all for a madman's goal. We as the 12 zodiac time beast govern the dimensions and make sure that the dimensions are stable and no issues happen with multi-cross. Dran explained. Ook. If it's your job, why don't you stop this, and if it hasn't happened yet, why not stop it before it happens? Naruto asked as Dran sighed. Due to our laws, we cannot directly interfere with cross-dimension events, we choose someone to wield our power and stop the events. And Naruto, we have chosen you. Dran said, shocking Naruto. Me? Why me? Naruto asked, shocked. Dran gave Naruto a sad smile. You see Naruto, I've been watching you for some time now. Dran said as Naruto flinched, I know that you have been suffering, both psychically and emotionally, but despite everything that has happened to you, you still retain hope. And that's what makes us choose our user. Dran explained, surprising Naruto. Hope? Naruto asked. Yes, you never give up, always look forward, and you never let anything keep you down, so this is why I believe you are the best person to wield our power and stop this dimension war. Dran explained as he extended his hand out. If you accept, take my hand. Dran said as Naruto stared at his hand. Naruto stared at his hand as he thought back to the innocent lives that will be lost if someone doesn't do something. He thought about what he was taught by his sensei, Itachi. If someone is in need of help, it's always the right thing to do to help, whether you get a reward or not, it's the right thing to do. Naruto opened his eyes, turned to Dran with a determined expression, and nodded his head. Okay, then I'll do it, I'll make sure that this man is stopped. Naruto said, determined as he took Dran's hand, and soon the 12 animals glowed in their colors. I'm glad that you chose to help, Naruto, I knew I made the right choice. We will be by your side from now on. Dran said as he and others vanished as a deck appeared in Naruto's hand. He flipped the deck and his eyes widened when he saw Chrono Dran as the front card. Naruto smiled as he ran back to his home feeling better than ever before. 6 years later. 6 years had passed since the day Naruto had made his first true friend, Chrono Dran. He formed a bond with the rest of the zodiac time beasts, but he formed a powerful bond with Chrono Dran since he was his first real friend. He would practice with the zodiac time beast deck in secret since he doesn't want his family or anyone else to know about it. The day was the 10th of October, the Uzumaki Namika's siblings' birthday and the siblings' 13th birthday. Naruto quickly dressed himself and got ready to head off to the academy for their graduation day. Naruto picked up his deck and held it tightly. This is it, today is the day I finally leave this worthless hellhole once and for all. Naruto said, clutching his deck tightly. You ready to show them what you can do, Naruto? Dran said, appearing beside his friend. Yeah, I've been waiting 6 years for this day, and I plan you leave lasting impression before I leave. Naruto said before leaving his room, walked right past his family as they are eating happily at the table, but Naruto just ignored them, since they haven't bothered to get him meals before, so why should he expect it to happen now? Konoha Academy. Iruka Yamino was giving a final lecture to his students, saying how proud he was that they had come this far. Naruto was simply blocking all of it out, looking over towards the window, waiting for the lecture to come to an end. Thankfully it soon did. Afterwards Iruka had them commence the written exam. Naruto found the questions annoyingly easy that just anyone could figure if they put the effort into it. After about 20 minutes then came the true test, the duel exam finals. Mizuki walked forward carrying a box, handing out numbered orbs to each one of the students, which would determine who would be facing who in graduation matches. Naruto saw he was number 9. Once everyone had been assigned their numbers, the class stepped outside where the matches would be held. Iruka then announced the match pairings, with Naruto hearing he would be facing the student with number 1, which happens to be Menma. Naruto watched on from the sidelines as the matches began. There weren't duels that were worth talking about, so he just sat back and watched everything play out, not caring much for the outcome save a few. Soon the time came for Naruto's name to be called. Naruto stepped forward, and standing across from him was none other than his brother Menma. Well, I must say this is disappointing, I was hoping for a challenge. Menma smugly stated, hoping to get a reaction from his brother. Naruto simply remained silent as he looked at his brother and activated his duel disc. Naruto glanced up at his brother. Whatever, can we just start? Naruto asked as he turned to Iruka, who nodded, and Menma was getting annoyed off, but he strapped his duel disc and inserted his deck as well. Duel. Naruto and Menma shouted as they each drew 5 cards. Menma LP. 4000. Naruto LP. 4000. I'll start, loser. I summon Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo. A cloud of smoke suddenly appeared as Hanzo appeared kneeling on his right knee. 4 at 1800 def 1000. When Hanzo is normal summoned, I can add 1 ninjutsu art card from my deck to my hand. I add the field spell, Hidden Village of Ninjutsu Arts, and activate it. Menma's field spell appeared. I set 1 card face down and end my turn. Your turn, loser. Menma shouted as he ended his turn and looked at his brother. You may as well give up now, before I send you home crying. Let's face it, you have no chance of beating me or Mito and Natsumi for that matter, since we are the special children and you are nothing. Menma shouted before he laughed, with the rest of the students laughed along with him, but a select few didn't. Naruto didn't say anything as a spirit form of Chronodran appeared next to Naruto's face. Wow, how is he your brother? You two are nothing alike. Dran asked with a narrowed expression. I ask myself that question every day, but it doesn't matter. What matters is showing everyone the power of the zodiac time beast. Naruto said, but only Chronodran heard him, making him smile and nod in response. Good luck, Naruto, and let loose. Dran said before he vanished as Naruto nodded. My turn, draw. Naruto drew his card, looked at it, before added it to his hand. I summon, Gear Chronicle, Pulsar Mary Block Dragon. Naruto summoned a blue and red robot small dragon with yellow wings in the air. 4 at 1400 def 1200. Everyone is staring at the monster with shocked, curious, and interested looks. What the hell is that? Menma shouted as he pointed at Mary Block. They are Gear Chronicle. Naruto answered. Everyone looked confused. Sis, have you heard of this deck? Mito asked her older sister, earning a headshake from her. No, I haven't. Natsumi answered. Menma shook his head. Whatever, it doesn't matter if you got a new deck, it won't change one damn thing. Menma shouted as his fangirls agreed with him. We'll see. Well, I control Mary Block, I can summon Gear Chronicle, Pulsar Metal Party Dragon. Naruto shouted as a slightly bigger blue robot dragon appeared and screeched as it appeared. 4 at 2000 def 0000. Metal Block cannot attack if the cards in my banished zone are 0. Naruto said, which made Menma laugh again. Ahahahaha. Then why summon that thing if it can't attack? Hahahaha. The rest of the students laughed at that as well. Because of this. Naruto answered as everyone stopped laughing and turned to him. I play the spell card, Leaps Through Time. Naruto shouted as the card showed Chronodran about to leap into a portal with a silhouette of a taller version of Chronodran on the otherwise of the portal. With this, I select 1 monster on my field and time leap that monster. Naruto explained as everyone raised an eyebrow at that. Time leap. Yes, so I time leap, Mary Block. Naruto shouted as a purple portal appeared in front of Mary Block as it flew into the portal, but a massive red and blue mechanical buffalo leaped out of the portal and landed on 2 legs and smashed its fist against each other, creating a shockwave. Meet Zodiac Time Beast, Chronobeat Buffalo. Naruto said as Chronobeat's eyes glowed red. 6 at 2100 def 1600. Everyone just started the move surprised, what the hell just happened? Time Leap is an ability that only Gear Chronicle posse. Time Leap works by banishing the monster chosen and special summon a monster from my deck that is either 1 or 2 levels higher. Since Mary Block was a level 4, by time leaping Mary Block, I was able to summon Chronobeat Buffalo from my deck. Everyone started the move surprised, if what Naruto said was true, then he has a special deck. Also, since Metal Party is now banished, Metal Block can attack. Attack Hanzo. Naruto ordered Metal Block fired a barrage of metal bolts from its mouth that headed towards Hanzo. Think again, loser. I play the continuous trap, ninjutsu art of decoy, which allows me to target one ninja on my field and it can't be destroyed by battle. The bolt slammed into Hanzo, making him grunt before a smoke cloud appeared as a tree with no leaves appeared where he was with Hanzo behind the tree unharmed. But you still take damage. Naruto said as Menma grunted at that. Menma. 43,800. At the end of Metal Party's attack, this monster is banished, but I can summon a level 4 or lower Gear Chronicle or Zodiac Time Beast from my deck in defense mode. So I summon Zodiac Time Beast, Chronovoli Rabbit. Naruto shouted as Metal Party vanished through a portal, then a small robot rabbit wearing a helmet with goggles on its head appeared as he crossed his arms. 3 at 1000 def 1200. When Chronovoli is summoned, while I control another Zodiac Time Beast on my field, that monster gains Chronovoli's attack. Naruto as Chronovoli jumped and landed on Chronobeat's head as the buffalo became surrounded by a golden aura. 6 at 2100 to 3100 def 1600. 3100 attack points. Menma shouted shock. Beat Buffalo attack Hanzo. Chronobeat slammed its fists against each other before it fired its fists like rockets that flew towards Hanzo and the tree hump as Chronovoli leaped up as a golden energy sphere appeared, reared its foot back before swinging it forward, sending the sphere towards Hanzo and the tree as well. Chronobeat's ability, when it attacks while I control another Zodiac Time Beast on my field, it gains 200 more attack points. Naruto told the group. 6 at 3100 to 3300 def 1600. The fists and energy sphere slammed into the tree creating a massive explosion, sending Menma flying. Aye. Menma shouted before he crashed into the ground making him grunt in pain. Menma. 3800 to 2300. Nuo. Menma-kun. How dare you? Naruto and the rest of the students flinched by the shouting of Menma's fangirls. Get up, Menma. I thought you wanted to defeat me as fast as possible. Naruto asked. Menma snarled at his worthless brother before he slowly got up. I'll show you, you bastard. Menma roared at Naruto who remained unchanged by this. Chronobeat's other effect after the attack, I draw one card and show it. Naruto said as he drew his card, looked at it, smiled at the card before he showed it revealing it to be Chronodran. Menma narrowed his eyes when he saw the card, having no idea what it does, then, I send one card from my hand to the bottom of the deck. Naruto explained the rest of the effect as he put Dran back into his hand as it placed another card at the bottom of the deck. I set one card face down and end my turn. During the end phase, the time-leaped Chronobeat Buffalo goes to the bottom of the deck and Mary Block Dragon comes back. Naruto said as a card appeared, then Beat Buffalo disappeared as Mary Block reappeared. Menma, cards in hand. 3. Naruto, cards in hand. 2. My turn, draw. Menma drew his card, looked at it, smirked before looking back at his brother. I summon Yellow Ninja. 4 at 1900 def 1800, when this monster is summoned, I can special summon a ninja from my hand in defense mode. I summoned Strike Ninja. Menma roared as Strike Ninja appeared. 4 at 1700 def 1200. Everyone is looking at Menma in concern, but his sisters are looking with even more concern. Sister, I don't like how Menma-Nison is behaving. Mito said with fear and worry. Natsumi narrowed her eyes, you're not along. She replied in a stern tone. I overlay Hanzo and Strike Ninja. Menma roared as his 2 ninja flew into a portal before it exploded. Appear. Rank 4. Blade Armor Ninja. RNK 4 at 2200 def 1000. Blade Armor's effect, by detaching one overlay unit, one ninja can attack twice. So, Blade Armor can attack twice this turn. Menma roared as one of its orbs got absorbed into his swords. Battle Blade Armor Ninja, attack Mary Block. Blade Amaura dashed towards Beat Buffalo as he drew his sword. Blade Amaura slashed Mary Block, creating an explosion, making Naruto's hair flew back a bit. Naruto. 4300. Menma smirk at that, did you like that? There's more where that came from. Menma shouted like a madman as everyone on the sidelines are now getting a bit afraid, but Natsumi is not liking the way her brother is acting. Yellow Ninja attack Chronovoli. Yellow Ninja vanished but reappeared behind Volley Rabbit then slashed him making it squeak in pain before it exploded, not dealing damage to Naruto. Sorry Chronovoli. Naruto whispered, but no one heard it as a spirit of Chronovolley nodded its head before it vanished. Ha! With nothing to protect you, Blade Armor Ninja can attack you directly. Menma shouted as Blade Armor dashed towards Naruto with his sword drawn. Once his was in front of Naruto, he swung his sword at him. I play the trap, zodiac roll. Naruto shouted as the trap lifted itself with the artwork showing a 12-sided dice with each face having a different face of an animal. With this, I roll a 12-sided dice and the number I land on is the type of zodiac time beast that gets to be summoned from my hand, deck or graveyard. Naruto said as he threw a die straight slamming into Blade Armor Ninja, making him stumble back as the dice landed on 9, since it was 9, I can summon, Chronoclaw Monkey. Naruto shouted for the first time as a machinal monkey appeared with a gold steampunk chest plate, a big white mane and a gold tail. 6 at 2000 def 1400. Big deal. Blade Armor, get rid of that monkey. Menma ordered as Blade Armor recovered, looked at Chronoclaw, raised his sword and swung it down at Chronoclaw. But the trap, zodiac roll. The zodiac time beast can't be destroyed by battle. Naruto shouted as Chronoclaw crossed his arms as it caught the sword stopping it in place. Naruto. 3200 to 3000. Menma snarled again, so what? You still aren't going to win this. You are and always be a loser. It's why our parents chose me and Natsumi to be the clan heads. It's because you aren't worthy of them. Menma shouted with a smug smirk on his face as he pointed at Naruto who merely stared at him. And? Naruto asked. Everyone was surprised by Naruto's response and Menma lowered his hand slightly, what? Menma replied. You think I care about what they want? You think I want to be a clan head? If you want to be a clan head, go ahead, I don't care. I don't care about Minato and Kushina and for a matter of fact, I don't care about you or your sisters either. Naruto replied in a neutral tone making everyone flinch or surprised by the fact he said that without giving away any form of emotions. Mito and Natsumi were shocked by Naruto's words as well. No matter, are you done? Naruto asked. Menma broke out of his shocked state as he stared at his hand before turning back to Naruto. Why yeah. Menma answered. Good, my turn. Draw. Naruto drew his card, looked at it before grabbing a different one. I summon, Zodiac Time Beast, Chronodran. Naruto said as Chronodran appeared with a massive smile and pumped his right fist in the air. 3 at 1500 def 500. Next I play the effect of leaps through time. When I summon a Zodiac Time Beast, well this is in my graveyard, I can set it to my side of the field, but it's banished when it leaves the field. Naruto said as his spell returned face down, and I think I'll play it, which allows me to time leap Chronodran. Naruto shouted as a purple portal appeared in front of Dran, then he leaped through it as a purple mechanical Egyptian jackal appeared holding a staff with small glowing blue tentacles on the top of its staff. Beat Zodiac Time Beast, Chronya's jackal. Naruto said. 4 at 1600 def 1200, Chrono Dran's ability, when Dran is placed in the banished zone, I can send Dran back to the deck and special summon Chronojet Dragon from my deck. Naruto shouted as Naruto grabbed a card from his deck, then placed it on his dual disc, led us to the future and open to a new world. Zodiac Time Beast, Chronojet Dragon. Naruto chanted as grown-up version of Chronodran, with no mouth this time since it's covered by a visor appeared, with his head face down, before he lifted it and placed his arms beside his hips, as blue particulars flew away from him. 8 at 2500 def 2000. Everyone is staring at Naruto's new monster with interested looks and in wonder what it could do. I activate Chronojet's ability. By sending either a Gear Chronicle or Zodiac Time Beast monster from my hand to the graveyard and by banishing Chronojet, I can special summon, with a Gear Chronicle or Zodiac Time Beast, Fusion, Synchro or XYZ from my extra deck and it counts as that summon. Naruto shouted surprising everyone. A monster that can be used to summon any monster from the extra deck and it treats as that summoned. Natsumi shouted surprised. So, I send Gear Chronicle, Delayed Blazer Dragon. And banish Chronojet to Synchro Summon. A spirit version of Delayed Blazer appeared but vanished into a green ring as it flew into the air with Chronojet flew into the ring as he vanished but became 8 green stars. Show us the path that will lead us to victory. The brilliant Pegasus that soars through the air. Synchro Summon. Appear. Level 9 Zodiac Time Beast, Metapulsar, Split Pegasus. Naruto chanted before shouted as a massive green pillar of light exploded as a massive machinal Pegasus wearing steampunk armor with machinal golden wings appeared. 9 at 3000 def 1800. Everyone stares at Naruto's monster in awe. Furthermore, Chronojet gives the monster that was summoned by his effect an effect. And that effect is time leap one other monster on my field. So I time leap Chronoclaw. Naruto shouted as Chronoclaw leaped into a portal as another Chronojet appeared hovering in the air. Split Pegasus's ability, by flipping one card in my extra deck face up, I return one monster on my field to the deck and special summon 2 Zodiac Time Beast and a Gear Chronicle with 1 and or 2 lower levels from the deck. So return Chronojet. And special summon 2 Gear Chronicle, Pulsar Tamer, Yugioh. Chronojet vanished as 2 humans wearing a green and white steampunk Egyptian robes with a machinal snake handgun on their right hand. 6 at 2200 def 500, x2. The monster can summon more monsters from his deck. Sakura shouted in shock. The effect of spilled Pegasus that is fast soup in my extra deck. Naruto shouted, surprising everyone. For every spilled Pegasus that is fast soup in my extra deck, add 500 to spilled Pegasus on my field and 200 to every Gear Chronicle and Zodiac Time Beast on my field. Naruto shouted. 9 at 3000 to 3500 def 1800, 6 at 2200 to 2400 def 500, x2. Menma started to sweat at this. Yugioh attacked Blade Armor Ninja. Yugioh smirked as he fired a purple stream of energy from the snake gun at Blade Armor. My field spells effect, B by banishing one ninja from my graveyard, my ninja avoids being destroyed. Menma said as he banished Hanzo from his graveyard as Blade Armor avoided destruction, but purple energy hit Menma's shoulder, making him grunt in pain as he held his left shoulder. Menma. 2300 to 2100. My other Yugioh will attack Yellow Ninja. Naruto shouted as the other Yugioh fired purple energy stream at Yellow Ninja, slamming into him, creating an explosion, making Menma grunt in pain again. Menma. 2100 to 1600. Split Pegasus attacked Blade Armor Ninja. Naruto ordered as Split Pegasus aimed its massive cannons at Blade Armor, who took a step back before Split Pegasus fired 2 massive green beams as they merged into one, slammed into Blade Armor, created a massive expulsion sending Menma flying. Ai. Menma shouted before he crashed into the ground. Menma. 1600-300. Menma. All of his fangirls cried out in concern, completely forgetting Menma's attitude earlier. Soon, Menma got back on his feet and glared at Naruto. I'm still, in this duel. And you, have no, more M monsters to, attack with. Menma shouted. True, I don't, but spilled Pegasus's final effect allows me to draw 3 cards, show them, and then I put one of them on the bottom of my deck. Naruto said as he drew 3 cards, looked at them, before showing them, one of them is Chronojet Dragon, a spell in Chronobeat Buffalo. And that Menma is game. Naruto said as everyone stared at him in surprise, confusion or in the fangirl's case worry and fear. How? Menma demanded. When I draw a Zodiac Time Beast that is a higher level than Yugioh time leaps. Naruto said, shocking everyone, so I time leap both Yugioh into Chronojet Dragon and Chronofang Tiger. Naruto shouted as 2 portals appeared in front of both Yugiohs as they both leaped through them as Chronojet came out and a red bipedal machinal tiger with yellow stripes appeared. 8 at 2500 def 2000, 8 at 2500 def 3000. Menma stepped away in fear as the 2 glared down at him. Chronojet and Chronofang attacked Menma directly. Naruto ordered as Chronojet and Chronofang activated their thrusters and flew towards Menma. Chronofang reared his left fist back as Chronojet reared his right fist back before they both swung them forward, slamming into Menma's stomach, making him cough saliva and a bit of blood before both pushed forward, sending Menma out of the dueling ring. Menma 300-0-0-0-0. Winner. Naruto. Naruto smirked as he walked away from his defeated brother, not even caring to give his siblings a glance. Flashback end. Naruto put those thoughts, he then noticed a school across from him and took notice of a group of young teens talking with a brown-haired boy. Naruto narrowed his eyes as he saw a green aura surrounding him. Naruto could tell that the boy's aura was that of someone with greed in their hearts. Naruto watched as the group followed after the boy. Naruto vanished in a blur as he stealthily followed behind them. They soon arrived at the Leo Institute of Dueling. The cloaked boy walked through the school halls, taking notice of the classes and training the students underwent. His eyes fell on a blue-haired boy. He sensed something different about him, but didn't pay it any mind at the moment. Naruto soon arrived in the Lid School arena. He was impressed. This arena must have had its share of amazing duels and tournaments. Naruto hid by the entrance to watch the events unfold, watching from a distance, and watched as 3 boys approached the group. Hey. The one in the front said with a wave. These gentlemen have also become big fans of yours. They're curious about the cards you used to pendulum summon. You wouldn't mind letting them have a look, would you? Sylvio said. Show them my cards. Yaya said hesitantly. No need to worry, these are just some of my best buds. Sylvio smiled. Well, okay. Yaya said, still hesitant, pulling out his cards. Here they are, Yaya said as Sylvio swiped them. See. Sylvio said, showing the cards. Wow, so I can pendulum summon with these cards. This one's mine. Gentlemen, please, you can't have these pendulum cards, they aren't yours. Sylvio smirked, looking over at Yaya. They're mine, I'm adding them to my rare card collection. That is not amusing, Sylvio. Yuzu shouted. I wasn't being funny. I happen to prefer rare cards, Sylvio smirked. In my opinion they are the only cards worth collecting. Your cards are so unique that I simply can't resist them, Sylvio said with his pals laughing. Oh. So that's why you invited Yaya to your school, Yuzu said. It is not the only reason. Naturally I need to know how to use the cards, Sylvio said looking at his gang. You still want Yaya to show you how to pendulum summon, right? All three boys chuckled and agreed. That is why I reserved the duel zone for our showdown, Sylvio continued. Well, you're gonna have to call and cancel, Yaya replied. Excuse me? Sylvio snorted and walked over to him. After I went through all that trouble. You better snap to it. Sylvio pulling his googles, hitting Yaya in the forehead, knocking down the young dueltoner. You okay, Yaya? Tate asked worriedly. Yeah. Yaya groaned. I don't want to get rough, so I suggest you get your head in the game and your deck in order. Sylvio stated when his duel disc began to ring. Dueling wasn't part of the plan, you were ordered to retrieve the cards and bring them to immediately. A voice said. Sylvio scoffed. That was your plan, but my priorities are a little different, understand? I plan to keep these rare cards for myself. He stated. Do not try to defy us. Report here immediately with the cards and. No, let him be. Do not interfere with Sylvio. Yaya could see Sylvio get some sort of message, but after a little while he looked at his gang and flicked. The three boys suddenly surround Yuzu and the others. Two of them grabbed after Yuzu, while the last one had the other three in a tight grip. They dragged away with them over to a white circle at the duel field. Yaya didn't know what that field meant, but he was not pleased with the outcome. He got up from the ground. Sylvio, tell your goons to let my friends go. Yaya shouted at Sylvio. What scum? Chronofang growled, appearing above Naruto. I've seen enough. Naruto said, jumping from his spot, landing directly between Yaya, Sylvio and his thugs. Who are you? Sylvio demanded. Someone who can't tolerate scum like you picking on others. Naruto said with a deadly tone. How do you have any idea who I am? Sylvio shouted in rage. The worthless piece of shit. Naruto smirked as Sylvio growled. That's it, forget Sakaki, I'll test my new pendulum cards out on you. Sylvio shouted. Fine with me, you don't seem like much of a challenge anyways. Naruto said with a shrug. Hold on, this is my fight. Yaya said, stepping forward. I've got a solution to this, let's have a tag duel. Itomo. Sylvio called over to one of the boys with brownish undercut and short ponytail. That suits me just fine. Naruto said, activating his duel disc. Duel. All four shouted as they all drew 5 cards. Yaya and Naruto LP. 4,000. Sylvio and Yamab LP. 4,000. Alright, it's show time. Yaya said, running past Sylvio. Performable whip, snake whip into shape. Yaya called out, summoning a purple snake with a whip handle for a tail and a top hat and how tie. 4 at 1700 def 900, Yaya outstretched his arm, coiling around it. Quick, let's swing into action. Yaya said, going to a windowsill and stretching whip snake out, swinging across to another buildings, but Naruto stayed behind since he can't do anything at the moment. Run, you fool. Sylvio mumbled, then glanced at Naruto, since he still hasn't moved. Then he looked at his hand, he grinned, seeing Time Gazer Magician already in place. Perfect. No. It's not time for that card yet. The president said through an earpiece. Listen, I don't know who you are, but don't interfere. Sylvio shouted. You will obey me. The president calmly retaliated, making Sylvio sweat. Fine, I'll just leave this for later. I summon lightning hoverboard, 4 at 1400 def 1200, appearing on Sylvio field was a dartboard in the jaws of a demonic skull jetting out lightning. It flew and stopped in front of Sylvio, who jumped on it riding after Yaya, with Yamab following him close behind, but Naruto hasn't moved from his spot. Yaya grabbed an action card, but when he grabbed it, the ground started to rumble, so he and Whip Snake turned around and saw a large pool ball started to roll towards him. It's the action trap called Break Shot. It decreases one of your monster's attack by 900 points. Sylvio explained as the pool ball slammed into Yaya, creating an explosion with a cloud of smoke. Coming out of the smoke, Yaya started riding the pool ball while Whip Snake was flattened. 4 at 1700 800 def 900. Whip Snake. Yaya called out to his monster. Comically, the pancake Whip Snake came up and wobbled towards Yaya. Yaya jumped off the ball, and luckily for him there was another action card which he picked, but paled when he saw it was another action trap. When Whip Snake caught him, a shadow appeared above their heads as they both looked up, seeing a white pool ball that landed on them, making Naruto, Yuzu and the kids flinch at that. Soon the pool ball vanished with Yaya and Whip Snake with swirly eyes. Sylvio and Yamab laughed hard when that happened. Ha 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 ha, wow, you really have terrible luck since you picked up another action trap. And that one was jump shot, which lowered your snake's attack by 400. Sylvio said as Whip Snake lost even more attack points. 4 AC. 800 400 def 900. Lighting hoverboard attacked the snake. Sylvio ordered as the hoverboard fired a lighting bolt from the front that slammed into Whip Snake creating an explosion. Yaya and Naruto. 4000 3000. And with that I end my turn. Sylvio shouted as Yaya shook his head, turned back to the city, and saw that Naruto still hadn't moved. Hey, my friends need help. Why are you just standing there? Yaya shouted at Naruto, but he merely turned at two as their eyes met and Yaya's eyes widened when he saw the look in his eyes. Confidence, pure confidence. Sylvio and Yamab merely stared at Naruto who didn't move. Ha, I don't blame you if you're scared. Sylvio shouted. Yeah, you won't be able to beat us. Yamab agreed with Sylvio. Meanwhile the president, brother. A female voice called out as Declan turned and saw a teenage girl around Naruto's age, walked in. She has long, maroon and dark red hair that is in twin ponytails on her sides. She is wearing a purple and light blue one-piece shirt that is a skirt as well, white long sleeves as well, white heels with purple straps on the shoes, and white tights with purple and maroon straps randomly around the tights. What is it, Ray? Declan asked. Ray said nothing as she walked up beside him looking at the screen, with not taking her eyes off of Naruto. There's something different about his deck. Ray said. Different how? Declan asked, since if Ray senses something, then it happens. I don't know. I can feel that person's deck is different. Ray replied, unsure herself. Declan turned back to the screen. My turn, draw. Naruto drew his card, looked at it, before added it to his hand, and then grabbed a new one. I summoned, Zodiac Time Beast, Chronodash Peccary. Naruto shouted as suddenly a purple-red mechanical pig-like machine that stood on its hind legs with jet thrusters fitted on its back and gear-shaped shields decorated with clear gems attached to its arms appeared and blew air from its snout. 3 at 1200 def 500. Declan stared at the screen with a curious expression and Ray stared at the monster with slightly surprised expression. Zodiac Time Beast. Declan asked softly. Sir. A woman called out, gaining their attention as they turned to the woman looking at her screen with a surprised expression. We're picking a strong energy reading from that monster. The woman said in shock, surprising the two as they turned back to the screen. What is that? Tate asked as he stared at Chronodash. I don't know. Ally replied. Do you know Yuzu? Frederick asked only to receive a headshake in response. I don't know. Yuzu replied. Yaya, Sylvio and Yamab stared at the monster since none of them have ever seen it before. Chronodash's ability. Naruto called out, gaining everyone's attention again. When Chronodash is summoned, I can special summon a Zodiac Time Beast from my hand. I summoned Chronodran. Naruto shouted as a blue portal appeared as Chronodran flew out of the portal and raised his right fist in the air with an open smile on his face. 3 at 1500 def 500. Sir, another reading. The same woman said. Start recording the readings from those monsters. Declan ordered as the workers shouted, yes sir, and started recording the energy readings as the two continued to watch the screen. While I control a Zodiac Time Beast on my field, I can summon Gear Chronicle, Pulsar Tamer, Yugioh. Yugioh appeared in the air before he landed on the ground with a smirk. 6 at 2200 def 500. Any readings from that monster? Declan asked. No sir, a small reading similar to the one summoned, but it isn't as powerful. The same woman answered as Declan narrowed his eyes at the answer. Brother. Ray said as Declan glanced to him, I sense great power from those two monsters. Ray explained as Declan nodded in response as he turned back to the screen. Let's go. Naruto ordered as he took off, with Dran flying beside him, while Chronodash ran after them and Yugioh slid across the ground following them as well. Soon Naruto did some parkour up the bridge until he caught up with them. Yugioh attacked lighting hoverboard. Naruto shouted as he slid to a stop as well as Chronodash, but Yugioh continued forward as he pointed his snake arm gun at lighting hoverboard and fired a stream of purple energy. Sylvio found an action card, rode his hoverboard to it, grabbed it, and smirked when he saw it. Unlike that loser, I have better luck with the action spell, Evasion, which dodges your attack. Sylvio shouted as the hoverboard flew over the attack, making Yugioh grit his teeth in response. Chronodran attack lighting hoverboard. Naruto shouted, but no one saw Chronodran except for Yuzu and the kids at the top of the tower, and they smirked where he was coming from. Sylvio and Yamab looked around. Where's your mon? Sylvio was interrupted as Chronodran punched through the back of the lighting board, making it explode as Sylvio comically tired to stay in the air before he crashed into the ground. Sylvio and Yamab. 4,3900. Sylvio got up and glared at Naruto, who he and Dran gave a high five. Nice work. Naruto said as Dran nodded his head in response before they turned back to their opponents. Dran's ability, after the attack, I draw one card from my deck and show it to everyone, then I send one card from my hand to the bottom of the deck. Naruto said as he drew his card before showing it to be a trap card. He added it to his hand as he put a different card on the bottom of the deck. Chronodash attacked them directly. Chronodash dashed towards them with his gears spinning around. Sylvio and Yamab turned around to try and run, but Chronodash slammed its right shoulder into Sylvio's back, sending him sliding across the ground. Sylvio and Yamab. 3900 to 2700. While everyone was distracted by this, Chronodran flew up the tower. Hey. Chronodran called out, making the four turn to him surprised. Chronodran held out his right hand. Take my hand and I'll fly you down. Chronodran said as the four stared at him dumbfounded. I talked. Ally said in shock, making Dran frown at that. That's pretty rude, you know. I'm only trying to help. Dran said as he continued to hold out his hand. Yuzu shook her head out of her shocked state. Alright. Yuzu said as she turned to Tate and Ally, you two go first. Yuzu told the pair as they nodded as Chronodran flew to them. He wrapped his arms around Tate as he wrapped his tail around Ally. He flew away from the tower as he gently descended to the ground. Once he was close to the ground, he released Ally and Tate as they landed on the ground. As they turned to him, thank you. Ally thanked Chronodran as he nodded. No worries, now if you'll excuse me. Dran said as he flew back up. Chronodash leaped away from Sylvio and landed in front of Naruto. Sylvio got up, shook his head, turned and glared at Naruto. You'll pay for that. Sylvio shouted. I doubt it, especially when Chronodash allows me to draw a new card. Naruto said as he drew a new card and showed it, revealing to be Chronojet Dragon. It would appear that only those Zodiac Time Beasts allow him to draw cards. Declan explained with his fingers intertwined and leaning his chin against them as Ray nodded in agreement. Yeah, Yugioh didn't use that effect after it attack. Ray agreed. Naruto placed a card at the bottom of the deck, Yugioh's ability. Since I drew a level 7 or 8 Zodiac Time Beast during the battle phase, Yugioh time leaps. Naruto shouted, which gained confused looks from the duelist, the kids and Yuzu, while Declan and Ray gained curious expressions. Chronodran placed Frederick on the ground before he flew up to get the last hostage. The purple portal appeared in front of Yugioh and leaped through the portal as Chronofang Tiger landed and slammed his claw on the ground. 8 at 2500 def 3000. Everyone was surprised and shocked by this move, even Ray had her mouth open slightly, while Declan gained a very interested look. Sir, the readings are stronger from that monster. The woman shouted in shock since these readings are higher than before. Trace those readings immediately. Declan ordered as everyone nodded and worked faster to trace the readings. Gaia hello to Chronofang Tiger. And Sylvio say hello to this direct attack from Chronofang. Chronofang engaged his thrusters and flew towards the pair. Yamab looked around until he saw an action card, grabbed it, saw it and played it. I played the action spell, evasion. Which negates your attack. Yamab shouted when Chronofang slammed his chloride in front of Sylvio, which destroyed the ground around them, creating a cloud of dust. Soon the dust cloud died down, revealing Chronofang's chloride in front of Sylvio, who is sweating crazy, especially when he looked at and saw Chronofang's glowing eyes that made it look like he's staring into his soul. Chronofang lifted its claw and leaped away, and Yamab ran to him. Sylvio, are you okay? Yamab asked as Sylvio slowly got up and glared at Naruto. Why yeah, oh of course I am. Sylvio said as Chronofang landed right beside Naruto. Yaya is staring at the destruction with a panicked expression. Yaya. A voice shouted as everyone turned and saw Yuzu waving at them with a happy expression as the kids continued to thank Chronodran. Yuzu? Yaya shouted in happy and relief, but turned and saw Chronodran, making him turn to Naruto. Yeah, I asked Dran to help them out. Come back Dran, we still have a duel to win. Naruto shouted as Chronodran nodded before he waved goodbye as he flew back to his teammates. Great job buddy. Naruto said as Dran nodded. No worries, Naruto. Dran replied and this shocked everyone. It spoke. Yaya shouted in shock. Even Declan and Ray couldn't hide their surprise. Ray more than Declan since she can tell duel monsters have souls, but she has never heard them talk before. Sylvio slowly and shakily pointed his finger at Dran. Ho how did that monster speak? Sylvio said as Naruto glared at him. That monster happens to be my partner and you don't have the right to know that since you are a dueling disgraced. Naruto shouted, snapping Sylvio out of his shocked state and glared at him. How dare you? Sylvio shouted. You stole a duelist cards that you don't have and you claim them as your own. You don't know the first thing about dueling. And if you think that better cards make you a better duelist, then you're sorely mistaken. Chronofang's ability. I draw 2 cards, show them and then put 1 card on the bottom of the deck. Naruto drew his cards, showed them as they are Chronobead and Chrono Tiger, then he put Chronobead on the bottom of the deck. I said 1 card face down and end my turn. During the end phase, the time leaped. Chronofang goes to the bottom of my deck and Yugioh returns to the field from my banished zone. Naruto shouted as Chronofang vanished as of Yugioh reappeared with a smirk on his face. So, this time leap banishes the monster that is time leaping to summon a monster from the deck and that summoned monster returns to the bottom of the deck. A very interesting mechanic. Declan said as Ray nodded her head in agreement. It's my turn and I'll make you pay. I draw. Yamab drew his card, looked at it, before playing it, I summoned Chthonian Solider. 4 at 1200 def 1400. Then I play double summon, which allows me to normal summon again this turn. So, I release Chthonian Solider in order to advance summon Mephist the Infernal General. Yamab shouted as Mephist appeared and swung his battle axe as his horse reared up and pawed the air with its hooves. 5 at 1800 def 1700. Then I equip Mephist with Axe of Despair, which gives him 1000 more attack points. Yamab shouted as the battle axe was replaced with the Axe of Despair. 5 at 1800 to 2800 def 1700. Oh no. Now Mephist is the strongest monster on the field. Tate shouted. That's bad. Ally shouted as well. Mephist attack Yugioh. Yamab shouted as Mephist kicked his horse into life as the horse galloped towards Yugioh, who grunted when he saw that he is the attack. I play the continuous trap, Zodiac Shield. The art showed Chronobeat Buffalo who is in front of Chronodran, with his hands in front of him, as two green shield are in front of his hands, blocking an attack from Axe Raider. With this, while I control a Zodiac Time Beast, I can return one Zodiac Time Beast to my hand to negate the attack, but at the end of my turn, if I don't control a Zodiac Time Beast, this card will be destroyed. So, I return Chronodash to negate your attack. Naruto shouted as Chronodash leaped towards Yugioh as a green shield appeared in front of it as Mephist slammed its axe before it got deflected. Once that happened Chronodash returned to Naruto's hand. DCH, I end my turn. Yamab said pissed that he couldn't hurt this bastard who dared talk to his friend like that. Yaya cards in hand. 4. Sylvio cards in hand. 5. Naruto cards in hand. 4. Yamab cards in hand. 2. My turn. Draw. Yaya shouted as he drew his card, added it to his hand and frowned slightly. I summoned Skeeter Skimmer from my hand. Yaya said as Skeeter Skimmer appeared. 4 at 500 def 1600. Naruto glanced at Yaya, bad hand huh? Naruto asked as Yaya nodded slightly. Yeah, I have an idea, but I don't have the right cards. Yaya said and Naruto nodded in response. Fair enough. Don't worry, I've already secured our victory. Naruto said as everyone turned to him surprised. Ha. I'll admit your deck is impressive, but you haven't won because I have a special summon technique. Sylvio gloated. That you stole. Naruto said. That I stole huh? Wait, no. I didn't. Sylvio shouted when he realized what Naruto said. Yes you did cause I know for a fact that those pendulum cards don't belong to you. Naruto replied. Sylvio scoffed at that, no matter, it's my turn, draw. Sylvio drew Stargazer Magician making him smirk in response. Stargazer Magician, I hope you're ready to work your magic. Sylvio said holding out Stargazer Magician's card. He's using my pendulum card. Yaya said in disbelief as Naruto narrowed his eyes. Well, I see that got your attention. You know what's coming next, don't you? Sylvio inquired. You need 2 pendulum cards to perform a pendulum summon Sylvio. Yaya shouted. That's a good point, it's a good thing I planned ahead. Sylvio said taking another card out. You don't mean? Yaya stuttered. Yes, I can access both cards as Timegazer is already in my hand. It's been there since the start of the duel. You refused to show me how to pendulum summon, but if someone as pathetic as you could pull it off then anyone can do it. Sylvio said sinisterly. I'm sure I'll do it much better. The first step is to set the pendulum cards. The said catching Sylvio's ear now do as you're told. The president spoke standing from his seat. Now by using the scale 1 Stargazer Magician and my scale 8 Timegazer Magician to set the pendulum scale. Sylvio and the president said in sync. Sylvio placing Timegazer on the left the blade and Stargazer on the right. In between both cards the words pendulum appeared on the blade. Behind Sylvio appeared 2 pillars and both magicians rose out of it and under each pillar was a 1 and an 8. Pendulum summon. Sylvio and the president shouted out. The portal opened up and 3 light poured out and 3 monster appeared on Sylvio's field, stunning shocking Yaya that Sylvio succeeded. Allow me to introduce Power Dart Striker. Sylvio referred to his orange machine man with 3 dart cannons. 1800-700. Along with its comrade Rocket Dart Striker. Sylvio referred to his red machine woman with a large dart blast. 1900-100. And the most powerful of my trio Ultimate Dart Striker. Sylvio referred to his final blue machine man who had a large dart on his arm. 2400-300. Ahaha, incredible, I truly did it and in my first try. Sylvio laughed. Thank you for the cards, Yaya, now I am truly a pendulum master. No way. Yaya mumbled. He did a pendulum summon. It can't be. Yuzu gasped with shocked expression as well. Naruto didn't like this. Sylvio knew exactly what to do, it was almost if he was told what to do. Well done Sylvio, this duel is as good as ours. Yamab shouted as Sylvio nodded in agreement as he turned to the cloak Naruto. So much for your victory being assured. Let me show you how a real duelist battle. Sylvio said. Man, he's arrogant and stupid, isn't he? Chronodran with a sweat dropped as Sylvio and Yamab comically fell on the ground as the kids laughed at the small monster's words as Naruto chuckled as well. I'll teach you. You little blue pest. Mephist attacked Chronodran. Sylvio shouted as he controlled his ally's monster as the horse galloped towards Chronodran. With the trap zodiac shield, I return Chronodran to my hand to negate your attack. Naruto said as Dran vanished right as Mephist swung its axe, only hitting nothing. HMPH, not matter. Ultimate Dart Striker attack Yugioh. Sylvio shouted as Drat Striker fired multiple missiles that slammed into Yugioh, making him shout in pain before he exploded as Naruto's cloak was blown back, but he managed to keep his face hidden. Yaya and Naruto. 3,2800. Now Power Dart Striker attack that pest clown. Sylvio shouted as Power Drat flew towards Skeeter Skimmer, who started to sweat. I play Skeeter Skimmer's ability. When it's targeted for an attack, I can switch this monster to defense mode and negate that attack. Power Drat Striker thruster its spear at Skeeter Skimmer, but a blue shield appeared in front of it, blocking Drat Striker's attack. Sylvio gritted his teeth against each other, Rocket Dart Striker attacked Skeeter Skimmer. Sylvio shouted as Rocket Dart fired multiple rockets from its arm gun at Skeeter Skimmer, blowing it up and creating an explosion which made Yaya shield himself, but he wasn't damaged. I end my turn. Sylvio said. Then it's my turn. Draw. Naruto drew his card, looked at it, before turning to Sylvio, you think you're a pendulum master? Naruto asked as Sylvio smirked smugly. Why yes, after all, I managed to pendulum summon. Sylvio. Naruto was not impressed, I see, well then, I think it's time I educate. Naruto said as he turned to Yaya, watch this Yaya. Naruto said confusing Yaya. Let's go. I set the pendulum scale with scale 1 Zodiac Time Beast, Chrono Tiger and scale 9 Zodiac Time Beast, Chrono Dran. Naruto shouted as he slapped Chrono Tiger, who is a mini version of Chronofang and Chrono Dran into his pendulum zones. Behind Naruto appeared two pillars with Chrono Tiger and Chrono Dran rose out of it and under each pillar was a 1 and a 9. Everyone was shocked by what they are seeing, what? Sylvio shouted in shock. Now I can summon monsters that are 2 through 8 at the same time. Naruto shouted as he raised his hand in the air, the dawn of time that governs the dimensions appear and show everyone your true power. I pendulum summon. Appear my friends. Naruto shouted as a portal opened up and 3 light poured out of the portal and shined down on Naruto's field. First off, is coming from the extra deck is Pulsar, taming Yugioh. Yugioh reappeared with a smirk as he held his snake cannon over his shoulder. 6 at 2200 def 500, next is Zodiac Time Beast Chronotherapy Hamster. A small yellow hamster-like machine with a long tail that ended with an orange orb, 2 gears acting as ears, a white muzzle and stomach. 3 at 100 def 1500. And finally, my ace, lead us to a new world with endless possibilities. Zodiac Time Beast, Chronojet Dragon. Naruto shouted as Chronojet Dragon appeared with his thrusters engaged and hovering above the ground with his arms crossed. 8 at 2500 def 2000. Everyone is staring at Naruto in shock, awe and disbelief, and no way. Yaya said in shock. This guy can pendulum summon as well. Yuzu whispered in shock as well. Chrono Dran is a pendulum monster. Ally asked surprised as she saw Chrono Dran in the pendulum zone. Well, this is certainly an unexpected turn of events. Declan said, but even he could barely hold his surprise when he saw this newcomer pendulum summon. Indeed, I never would have imagined that he could pendulum summon as well. Ray agreed with her brother. Sylvio stared at Naruto's field in shock, TT that's impossible. There are only 3 pendulum cards, I have 2 of them, and that twerp still has his odd eyes. How do you have pendulum cards? Sylvio shouted thinking that this was a mistake. I don't have to explain to you, as I said that our victory is assured. I activate the effect Chronotherapy Hamster. When this card is normal or pendulum summoned, we gain 500 life for each Zodiac Time Beast on my field. Since there are 4 Zodiac Time Beast, we gain 2000 life points. Chronotherapy gathered energy into a golden rob before it flung it into the air, that burst as showered Naruto and Yaya in golden particulars. Yaya and Naruto. 2800 to 4800. Chrono Dran's pendulum ability. When I successfully pendulum summon a Zodiac Time Beast, Dran is destroyed and I can special a Zodiac Time Beast from my deck with the same level as the pendulum summon monster. I choose Chronojet, who is a level 8. Naruto shouted as Dran dispersed. Sorry Dran. Naruto thought to Dran. No worries, I know that this is necessary to win after all, so go get them. Dran thought back in spirit form before he vanished. I summoned Chronofang Tiger from my deck. Naruto shouted as Chronofang returned to the field. And now it's time. I activate the effect of Chronojet in Chronofang. By discarding a monster 1 card and by banishing the monster using its effect, I can special summon a Gear Chronicle or Zodiac Time Beast for my extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, and it counts as that summon. Naruto shouted. What? Sylvio and Yamab shouted in shock. I discard Chronodash from my hand and banish Chronojet to fusion summon. Naruto shouted as Chronojet started swirling around in a vortex, the dragon that commands time and change the fate of my opponent appear and show endless possibilities. Fusion summon. Appear level 10. Gear Chronicle, Chronos Common Dragon. Naruto chanted as Chronos Common appeared. A massive golden mechanical dragon appeared, floating in the air on the side of the bridge over the water, with its legs crossed and holding a massive staff with 3 gears, one on top of the over. 10 at 2900 def 2400. Everyone is staring at the monster in shock, awe and in Sylvio and Yamab case, fear. It's not over yet, cause by sending Chronovoli Rabbit and banishing Chronofang, I can synchro summon. Naruto shouted as Chronofang leaped up as a spirit version of Chronovoli appeared before it turned into 2 green rings as Chronofang flew into the rings as it turned into 8 green stars. A mysterious dragon that decides its own future show me endless possibilities and lead me to victory. Synchro summon. Appear. Level 10 Gear Chronicle, Interdimensional Dragon, Mystery Flare Dragon. A massive dragon wearing brown golden steampunk armor and 2 massive cannons for guns appeared floating on the other side of the bridge. 10 at 3000 def 2500. Again, everyone is staring at Naruto's massive monsters in shock and awe. Sir, the readings are off the charts. The woman said as the readings are getting stronger before the screen started glowing red, sir, the readings are overloading the systems. The same woman said, shocking Declan and Ray. Shut it down now. Declan ordered quickly. Yes sir. Everyone shouted as they stopped recording the energy readings as everything returned to normal. Battle. Chronos Command Attack Ultimate Drat Striker. Naruto shouted as Chronos Command pointed its staff and fired a golden beam at Dart Striker, slamming into him, making it roar in pain, before it exploded as Sylvio and Yamab shielded themselves from the explosion. Sylvio and Yamab. 2700 to 2200. When Sylvio and Yamab unshielded themselves and turned to Naruto and Yaya, Chronos Command's ability. When this monster destroys a monster in battle, I banish either 2 Zodiac Time Beast or 2 Gear Chronicle from my graveyard and every monster my opponent controls are shuffled into the deck. Naruto shouted, shocking everyone. I banish Chronodash and Chronovoli, who are both Zodiac Time Beast, to shuffle every monster on your field. Swallow them into the depths of space-time. Naruto shouted as Chronos Command pointed into the sky as a purple portal appeared and all of Sylvio's and Yamab's monsters were sucked into the portal before it closed, shocking everyone. Mystery Flare Dragon. Naruto shouted, gaining everyone's attention again as Mystery Flare pointed its massive right arm cannon at the pair, who hugged each other in fear. Attack them directly. Naruto shouted as Mystery Flare fired a massive green energy beam that slammed into them, creating a massive explosion. Ay. Sylvio and Yamab screamed like girls as they were sent flying off their feet. Sylvio and Yamab. 2200 to 0000. Winners. Yaya and Naruto. All of the monsters vanished as the action field returned to normal. What a joke. Naruto remarked as he walked to Sylvio, grabbed Star and Timegazer magicians and threw them to Yaya, who caught them. I believe these belong to you. Naruto said. Thank you. Yaya said gratefully as he looked at the pair. Yaya. The red-green haired boy turned and was tackled into the ground by the young trio, laughing while shedding tears of joy. So what's it matter, you won the duel anyways. But I'm not leaving here until I have those pendulum cards. He shouted with his goons getting ready for an attack. Naruto punched Otomo in the gut, nailed Kakimoto across the face, and kneed Yamab, knocking them all out. Sylvio backed away with fear before Naruto appeared behind him, chopping him in the back of the neck. Yaya, Yuzu and the kids were surprised that Naruto easily took out Sylvio's goons. As for Sylvio, he was shivering in fright for walking back slowly until a stick came hitting him in the head. Another kid around the same age as the other kids jumped join in front of Naruto. The kid had light blue hair, white skin, a blue jacket over a black shirt and white pants with brown shoes. And you are? Naruto questioned the newcomer. Turning around, the kid gave a smile towards the group. Someone who was amped by yours and Yaya's duel. So do you study here at the Leo Institute? Yaya inquired the boy. I was considering it, but that duel you guys had changed my mind. I want you guys to be my teacher. He pointed at Yaya and Naruto. What? Yaya shouted in shock. Pass. Naruto said, surprising everyone. Why? He asked. I'm on a mission, I don't have time to play around. Naruto answered as he started to walk away. Wait, who are you and why did you help me if you had a mission? Yaya shouted as Naruto stopped. Who I am isn't important, as for why I helped I just can't stand people like them. Until we see each other again. Naruto said as a gust of wind circled around him before he vanished into thin air, shocking everyone as they all had one question on their minds. Who was he? They all thought to themselves. Chapter 2. Naruto stood atop a building overlooking some of Paradise City, his gaze focused on his surroundings, his mind thought back to his previous duel with Yaya a few days ago. He had to admit it was a surprise to discover there was another duelist out there, able to use pendulum summoning. Aside from him back, this made Naruto smile in excitement and anticipation. The pendulum versus pendulum duel, that would be very interesting to see. Chronofang said, appearing beside Naruto. Ha! Not this guy would be any match for our Naruto. Chronoclaw laughed, flipping around. Don't be so quick to judge, guys, something is special about that Yaya guy and that dragon of his. Naruto said since he could feel Odd Eye's powers even though he didn't play it, he could feel its power from his hand and it's currently lying deep within it yet to be unlocked. Perhaps, but I don't think his was wise to reveal that you have a mission. Chronothos also appeared as Naruto flinched slightly since he did say that and he didn't know who was watching. Why yeah, I'm sorry, my bad. Naruto apologized. Don't worry about it. But make sure that you don't say the wrong thing at the wrong place and wrong time. Squeak, chronotherapy said as Naruto nodded his head in response. Then Naruto soon narrows his eyes as he felt a slight jolt and looked over in the distance. I sense something. Naruto said. Yeah, I feel it too, someone has traversed to this dimension. Chronodran said, appearing beside his partner. Well, looks like we'll need to take action now. Naruto said as the zodiac time beasts disappeared and Naruto vanished in a mini tornado. Paradise City. Leo Institute. The cloaked figure stood in a dark alleyway staring up at the Leo building. In his hands he held an lid pin as he carefully observed the building. Meanwhile, on the inside the Leo duel arena, Sylvio was having a match against Kakamoto. Sylvio had Mobius the Frost Monarch on his field, while Kakamoto had Power Dart Striker. And now to break the ice and any chance you have at winning this duel, Mobius the Frost Monarch is gonna put the freeze on Power Dart Striker. Mobius created a spear of ice covering his arm before bisecting Power Dart Striker. That's not fair. Kakamoto whined as the other two came over to him. Your cards are far better than mine. Incorrect, you weren't defeated by the cards in my deck, you were defeated by everyone. Sylvio said as he snapped. Sylvio? The trio said as they posed. That's me. That's not to say I don't have sweet cards, I do, but what's even sweeter are my skills. Skills that pay the bills. And that give the thrills. So, let's give it up for Sylvio, said posing, snapping his fingers. Sylvio? His friends cheered. That's me. Now, some may say that I have a really big ego. Well, Sylvio began. He sure does. They finished. But my dueling talents are even bigger. So, one more time with feeling. Go. Sylvio said, snapping. Sylvio? The trio sang. It sure is true. And is there anyone out there that can beat me? Sylvio boasted. Yaya Sakaki and that cloaked duelist. Kakamoto muttered. Yeah, he sure does act like them now. Yamab said. Sylvio grew annoyed. What do you mean, Yaya Sakaki and that cloaked freak? Sylvio demanded. All we mean, Sylvio, is that they did beat you and Yamab in your last match, Itomo said, explained to Sylvio. It's because they had better cards, that's why. Their decks were stacked against me and Yamab from the get-go. We didn't stand a chance. Not only that, but that other guy was able to pendulum summon when Yaya was supposed to be the only one who had pendulum cards. Sylvio argued. What? Yeah, don't you remember? Before the duel, you took Yaya's pendulum cards and gave him a deck full of duds. Well, I can agree that other guy's deck was powerful, especially since he had his own pendulum cards. Oh, forget about that. I've changed my game. Mark my words, Yaya is all washed up and then I'll get my revenge on that other duelist. Sylvio growled. Paradise City. Docks. Do me a favor, ally, the next time I have a craving for ice cream not to share it with everyone. Yuzu said, annoyed. An image of the four boys popped up chanting ice cream. Since a few days ago a new student and friend Sora came and wanted Yaya and that cloaked duelist to teach him pendulum summon, but the cloaked duelist vanished, so Sora nagged Yaya for a whole day until they dueled and Yaya won, leading Sora to be a new student at the Yugioh duel school. I'm more worried about sharing Frederick's favorite flavor, seriously, pralines and currywurst. Ally giggled before stopping as Yuzu stopped. What is it? Yuzu bent down towards Ally and shushed her to keep quiet, looking over at Tomo and Yamab carrying a plastic bag and lunch box. Sylvio sure is fired up. When he gets his hands on this, both Sakaki and that cloaked duelist, it's not gonna be pretty. Itomo said. Oh, it's gonna be pretty devastating, alright. Pretty devastating for those two losers when Sylvio's finished mopping the floor with them. Yama laughed as Yuzu and Ally gasped. You said. Itomo agreed, of course it would be pretty devastating for us if we're any later delivering Sylvio's lunch. As he said that, both of them took off running. This is bad. Yuzu yelled as she ran to follow the duo. Hey. Wait for me. Ally yelled as she ran after Yuzu. The cloaked boy stood atop an empty warehouse unnoticed as Itomo and Yama opened up the doors to warehouse 52. We're coming, Sylvio. Meanwhile inside the warehouse sitting on a couch was Sylvio, irritated with Kakamoto sitting across from him on a wooden crate. You're both late. Sylvio grumbled angrily as the two came running up to him. We'll make it up to you. We'll feed you personally or give you a foot rub. Yama pleaded. Yuzu and Ally stood behind some crates by the warehouse doors. Yuzu narrowed eyes while Ally had a troubled look. What are we doing here, Yuzu? Shouldn't we go get Yaya for backup? Ally asked worriedly. In their duel with Sylvio, both that boy and Yaya gave it their all to help me and the kids, it's time I pay Yaya back in full. Yuzu thought. This could get dicey, Ally, so head on back to Yugioh. Yuzu said, handing the bags to Ally. But Ally pleaded as Yuzu charged out towards the warehouse doors. What are you doing here? He asked himself in surprise. Sylvio was about to the first bite of his pie when he heard the port doors shot open. How about you chew on this? Yuzu shouted, causing him to choke on his pie before Itomo handed him a water bottle. I overheard you talk about how you're planning to get revenge on Yaya, Yuzu said, glaring at the pie-covered boy. You're in no position to. Only he was cut off by Yuzu. Duel me right here and now. She declared. You can't be serious. What's wrong? Afraid you'll rack up another lose? Yuzu taunted. Would you please let me speak? Actions speak louder than words. So, what's it gonna be? Are you nothing but a chicken? Yuzu said. Sylvio gained a tick mark as his eyebrow twitched his in annoyance. I'm not chicken. He said quietly. You're right, because that's nothing but an insult to a chicken. Yuzu said. You're so on, Yuzu. Sylvio said darkly as his three friends shut the warehouse doors. Oh, what's wrong? You look scared. Now who's the chicken? Sylvio taunted. If we're going by appearances then it's still you. I've seen your bird brain abilities in action against Yaya. Yuzu said. We'll see who's crying foul, so let's do this. He said, suddenly Kakamoto screamed as he was sent flying as the warehouse doors burst open, revealing the purple-haired boy with his cloak waving in the wind. Now what? Sylvio grumbled. I hope I'm not interrupting. The figure said, walking in front of the bewildered Yuzu. You are. Yuzu replied. A person on a mission that I'll complete no matter what. The boy answered. Yeah, that's great and all, but can't you see we're in the middle of something? Sylvio said, we're about to duel. The figure thrust his left arm back, making his cloak fly, while revealed a purple duel disc. Oh yes, we are. He said as the purple blade appeared from his disc. So, I guess you'll be dueling in Yuzu's place? Sylvio asked. Oh, he most certainly will not be, this my battle, so stay out of my way. Yuzu said, only for the boy to grasp her wrist. I already put you through enough. He said, confusing Yuzu before he let her go. Alrighty then, let's do this, Mr. Mystery. When I win, you gotta remove that mask. Sylvio said with a smirk, unfazed by the boy. I'll take your brooding silence as a yes. Sylvio said, activating his green blade. Now then, ready or not? Let's duel. They both said together. Mystery versus Sylvio. Sylvio. 4,000. Mystery. 4,000. I'll go first. The masked duelist said. By all means. Sylvio said. I place 5 of my cards face down. Mystery said, setting 5 face down, shocking Yuzu and Sylvio. Turn end. Sylvio got out of his shock and burst with laughter. Ha 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 ha. I love it, you come in all cool and mysterious before going to play a lame move like that. He mocked the masked duelist. No wonder this punk is wearing a mask, he's too embarrassed to show his face. Come on, that's the reason, right? He laughed. The masked duelists meanwhile stood unaffected from Sylvio's taunts. Guess you'll have to beat me to find out. He challenged, to which Sylvio got out of his laughing fit. Fine. Alright then, it's time to show make way for Mobius the Frost Monarch. How it's done. Sylvio said first, I think I'll take advantage of your face down cards. Now since you have 2 or more cards in your spell and trap zones, I can summon the chilling villain straight from my hand. So come forth, Escher the Frost Vassal. Sylvio said as a creature with blue and green armor with a small red cape while sitting on a block of ice appeared. 4 at 800 def 1000. Not done there, because I'll be tributing Escher for this cool customer, make way for Mobius the Frost Monarch. Sylvio said as the monster he used against Kakamoto appeared. 6 at 2400 def 1000. Alright. The duel just started and Sylvio already has a big time monster out. Kakamoto cheered. And he has a big-time ability. When Mobius is successfully summoned, I can choose up to 2 spell and trap cards on the field and freeze them out. Mobius then gathered blue energy in his hands before unleashing a blizzard engulfing 2 set cards, destroying them. Unfortunately for you, I'm just getting started because next I'll be playing the spell Tribute Carnival. Since I already executed a tribute summon, I can tribute summon once again. Sylvio announced, shocking Yuzu. And I always thought carnivals are supposed to be fun. I got a chilling feel of what's coming next. Yuzu said. And you ought to, don't take my word for it though. Go on, see for yourself. He said as a portal opened beneath Mobius. Farewell Mobius the Frost Monarch, I tribute you. I now summon Mobius the Mega Monarch. Appearing in the first Mobius's place was a much larger Mobius who had a large ring on the back, 2 large spikes on his shoulders, on his arms and legs, as well as having one on his head. 8 at 2800 def 1000. I know what you're thinking, shouldn't have to tribute 2 monsters to bring out someone as powerful and majestic as Mega Monarch. Sylvio bragged. Uh-oh. The trio said mockingly. When Mega Monarch is successfully summoned, I can target up to 3 spell and trap cards you have and destroy them. Sylvio declared, freezing winds then began to gather around Mobius. Nice, but hurry up though. He could do a quick counter with those cards before they're destroyed. Kakamoto said. Actually, he can't because the best thing is that when I tributed a water attribute monster to summon Mega Monarch, he isn't allowed to activate any spell or traps. Sylvio said smugly as Mega Monarch let loose the frozen winds, destroying the remaining set cards. I can actually feel cold, but that can't be. Unless the action in this duel is more real than I thought. Yuzu said worriedly. Having second thoughts with this duel now, Mr. Mystery. You have no face downs left to protect you and no cards in your hand, as well as no monsters to defend you. In the future, you should let Yuzu fight her own battles. Sylvio taunted. Look, as much as I hate to agree with Sylvio, he happens to have a point here. How about I just take over from here? Yuzu said worried but was stopped as the masked duelist narrowed his eyes, showing his resolve. I hate to interrupt your moment, but we're in the middle of a duel. Sylvio called out Mobius. Attack Mr. Mystery directly. A blizzard formed around the Mega Monarch as the spikes on its body glow, increasing in length. Maybe he'll finally see the point of things. I activate spell card the Phantom Knights of Shadow Vale from my graveyard. He announced. He did what? Sylvio's friend said in unison. The graveyard? Itomo said, shocked. How can he do that? Yamab asked. Yeah, the card's in the graveyard, which means you can't use it unless Sylvio began. Unless you trigger that card's effect just like you did by declaring a direct attack. Now that I have 3 of these cards in the graveyard, I can summon them as monsters to my field. He said. 3 ghostly knights rose up on his field with their horse donned in golden armor and having manes and tails made of flames. 4 at 0 def 300, x3. I think we may have underestimated this guy. Yamab said, looking at the situation. I don't know what's more mysterious, the man behind the mask or how he duels. She said, trying to block the blizzard from messing with her sight. Fine, you may have gotten 3 monsters out, but Mega Monarch is gonna take them out with ease. Attack that first Shadow Veil, Sleet Spike Strike. Mega Monarch let the winds form into an icy impact around its body before impaling Shadow Veil, its spikes. When Shadow Veil is destroyed, it's banished instead of being placed in the graveyard. And that's what's gonna happen to them all, in due time of course. Sylvio said as he placed a face down on his field, but for now I'll throw a face down and end my turn. You may have survived this round, but you won't on the next one. Sylvio added on. Kakamoto held up a fist. That's right. Tell him, Sylvio. Kakamoto cheered. I won't need to because I'm ending this now. Mystery said, looking forward as his eyes burned with an untold rage. The conditions are set. I overlay my 2 level 4 Phantom Knights in order to construct the overlay network. Mystery said, thrusting his hand out as his 2 knights become purple lights clashing together in a galaxy-like portal. It can't be. Sylvio exclaimed in shock seeing the move. Yuzu was also shocked at the move made. XYZ summon. She shouted since heard about this summoning technique before. Formed from pitch black darkness to fight those foolish enough to oppose it with its treacherous fangs. Now, descend. XYZ summon. Rank 4. Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon. The masked duelist chanted, then shouted as black and purple dragon with long blades on the arm and a little above the hands, it had long wings and mandibles on its chin, appeared as it roared out. RNK 4 at 2500 def 2000 or 2. In the LD's room, sir, we're picking up a massive energy summon reading. A woman shouted. What kind of summoning technique? Declan asked with Ray standing beside him. Then a mini screen appeared with XYZ on it, it's XYZ sir. The woman shouted. The XYZ summoned. Yuzu said in shock as Dark Rebellion let off a dark aura. Sylvio started to clap looking smug, very impressive Mr. Mystery, but this changes nothing. You see, a monster is only as powerful as its attack points say it is. So do the math, your rebellion dragon only has 2500 attack points, while Mobius the Mega Monarch has 2800 attack points. Sylvio said. Rebellion dragon is outmatched, so your summon monster was a waste of my time. Sylvio said, playing with the front of his hair. Your time is running out, Sylvio, because you're wrong about my dragon. An XYZ monster's true power doesn't lie in their at point, but rather in their very souls called overlay units. The boy explained to his smug opponent. What a nice lesson on XYZ monsters, but enough of that because I'm not the least bit interested. Sylvio said. Then you shall feel that power. By using one overlay unit, Dark Rebellion Dragon can activate its special ability. Now until the end of this turn, the attack points of one monster on your field gets cut in half. Dark Rebellion's wings extended as it sent purple lightning towards Mobius, ensnaring the monster. Now Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon gains that amount in its at points. Mystery finished as his dragon roared, 2800 to 1400 1000, RNK4 at 2500 to 3900 def 2000 or 2-1. Oh no. Now Mobius is the one who's outmatched. Kakamoto said, shocked. And Sylvio can't believe it. Yuzu said as Sylvio freaked out. I can't believe it. Sylvio shouted, grabbing his head. Believe it, and I'm not done because I'll be using my remaining overlay unit to activate Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon's special ability once again. He declared as the remaining ball of light dispersed. So, he's doing the same thing all over again. Kakamoto said. Not good. The boys said in unison. Oh, Rebellion Dragon. Mystery shouted as Dark Rebellion let loose more purple lightning to binding Mobius tighter as Sylvio Starred looked on in shock. 1400 700 1000s, 3900 to 4600 2000. It has 4600 attack points. Yuzu said in shock. I still can't believe this. Sylvio shouted in denial. Battle. I attack Mobius the Mega Monarch with Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon. Revolt of Lightning disobey. Blue energy began to appear in the gaps of Dark Rebellion's wings before the dragon charged forward towards Mobius. The spike on its chin began to glow blue as it rammed it straight into Mobius, destroying it. Sylvio. 4100. The boy protected Yuzu from the impact as a pebble smashed into his left goggle, creating a spiderweb of cracks from the impact before it bounced off. Then a massive explosion covered most of the warehouse, destroying most of it as smoke came out of the front door and the whole roof above. Soon the smoke died down as Sylvio's goons are up against the wall, as Sylvio is on his hands and knees facing the wall grunting in pain as he rose up, while the goons are now officially afraid of this masked duelist. What the hell was that? There's no action field and we felt that impact. Itomo shouted in shock. That guy's monster power was sent flying at us. Kakamoto shouted as well. This is bad. Yamab shouted. The masked duelist walked away from Yuzu, who is also shocked by the damage from the attack. The masked duelist lifted his goggles, but his hair is shadowing his eyes, and stopped a few feet away from Sylvio with his dragon behind him growling, I'm going to ask you this once, so you better answer me truthfully. He demanded as he showed Sylvio LD's badge, holding it with his right index and thumb. This badge is from LD's? He asked. Why yeah, and? Sylvio asked as she flipped around so it was sitting. So then, what is your connect with Duel Academy? He asked, which gained a confused look from Sylvio. The Duel Academy? Sylvio asked before closing his eyes and shrugged his shoulders and arms, I don't know what you're talking about. Sylvio answered. Don't play dumb. The masked duelist demanded as Sylvio stood slightly. I'm not playing. Anyone who enrolls at LDS has a badge like that. I don't know about this Duel Academy or whatever you're talking about. I swear. Sylvio shouted. There was a heavy silence that filled the area so much that you can hear a pin drop, then I have no business with you. The masked duelist said as he turned around and started walking away. Sylvio smirked and chuckled, you moron. This duel isn't over yet. I play the trap, Ice Rage. Sylvio shouted as his face down lifted itself, when a water-type monster on my field is destroyed by battle, Ice Shot destroys one monster on your field, and you take damage equal to its current attack points. Sylvio shouted as the masked duelist stopped walking, as Yuzu and Sylvio's goons gasped. Your Dark Rebellion is destroyed, and you'll take its 4600 attack points in damage. Sylvio shouted as he laughed like a smug brat, I read your moves and I planned ahead by setting this trap, and now you lose. Sylvio shouted. Such cheap tactics, it's child's play honestly. The masked duelist said. What? Sylvio shouted, annoyed at the masked duelist's words. Then he raised his right hand, I activate the effect of the continuous spell card. The Phantom Knight Spear from my graveyard. he declared as a spell card appeared and glowed white before the card was replaced as a spear with a crimson energy ring around the spear. When my opponent's trap card activates by banishing this card from my graveyard, that effect is negated then destroyed. He said as Sylvio's trap vanished, making him gasp. And then you take 100 points of damage. The masked duelist finished as Sylvio turned pale and started waving his comically on his sides. Wait. Let's talk about this. Sylvio shouted. Experience this with your own flesh. The rage and sorrow of a battlefield. The masked duelist ignored him as he turned and pointed at Sylvio as the spear was shot from the crimson energy ring as Sylvio started to cry in fear as the spear slammed into Sylvio, wedging him into the wall. Sylvio was now properly afraid since the spear was only a few centimeters away from actually pricing his stomach. Sylvio. 100-0. When Sylvio's life points dropped to 0, the spear and Dark Rebellion vanished as Sylvio collapsed on the ground looking at the masked duelist. The area was so quiet since bystanders were shocked by this as the masked duelist turned around and pulled down his mask, showing that his face is exactly like Yudo, shocking everyone. What? Sylvio said before he fainted from shock as his goons were also shocked. Yudo? Yuzu asked as the Yudo lookalike turned to her. Well, this is unexpected. A voice called out as everyone turned and saw the same cloaked person that is blowing in the wind. You? Yuzu shouted in shock at seeing him again. Naruto turned to Yuzu. Yes, it's me, and your name is Yuzu, right? He asked, remembering her name when Yudo called out to her. Why yeah. Yuzu replied as Naruto turned to the Yudo lookalike. Now then, want to tell me why an XYZ renegade is here? Naruto asked as Yudo lookalike eyes widen in shock before he glared at him. How do you know are part of Duel Academy? He asked in rage as Sylvio's goons carried their fainted boss away. Duel Academy? Yuzu asked confused. Who knows? Naruto said as he stood up and ran away. Get back here. Yudo shouted as he climbed the building and chased after him. Wait. Yuzu was about to chase. Yuzu? A familiar voice called out as Yuzu turned and saw Yudo running towards her. Yudo? Yuzu shouted in shock as Yudo ran next to her. Where were you? Your dad is worried about you. Yudo shouted as Yuzu gasped since she realized how late it was and she never called her dad. Oh no. Yuzu shouted before she turned to where the two escaped from as Yudo followed her gaze. What's wrong? Yudo asked. I don't know. Come on, I need to get home. Yuzu said as she ran in the direction of home with Yudo confused but followed her anyway. The Yudo lookalike continued to chase Naruto across buildings, through the streets, until Naruto stopped as they came to a new dock on the other side of the city. Naruto turned around to face the Yudo lookalike with both them panting quite a bit since they haven't stopped sprinting. Huff, 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 finally, huff, you've stopped, now, huff, are you part of Huff Duel Academy? The Yudo lookalike asked. Well, huff, huff, there's only, huff, one way, huff, to find out. Naruto said as he activated his dual disc as the Yudo lookalike nodded and did the same, allowing both of them to catch their breath. Before we duel, can you do me the courtesy of telling me your name? Naruto requested. Isn't it rude, when asking for a name, you don't say yours first, and the fact that you're hiding your face behind a cloak makes it very rude, doesn't it? The Yudo lookalike asked. Yeah, I suppose it does, my name is Naruto. Naruto introduced himself as he pulled down the head of his cloak showing his blonde spiky blonde hair. Naruto Maelstrom, huh? Very well, my name is Yudo. The Yudo lookalike introduced himself as Yudo. Yudo, okay then. So, if you want to know if I'm a part of Duel Academy or not, then defeat me in this duel. Win and I'll let you everything. But if I win, then I have some questions that only you can answer. Naruto said as Yudo nodded. Deal, and when I win, you'll tell me where Ruri is. Yudo shouted but in a calm tone as they both inserted their decks into their dual disc as the machines shuffled them. Duel. Naruto and Yudo shouted as they both drew 5 cards. Naruto. 4,000. Yudo. 4,000. I'll start. I summon Zodiac Time Beast, Chronothos Jackal. Naruto shouted as Cronions appeared holding its staff in both hands and pointing it at Yudo. 4 at 1600 def 1200. Zodiac Time Beast. Yudo thought to himself as he never heard of that archetype before. In the LD's control room, sensors are going off on the monitors. Sir, we're picking the Zodiac Time Beast readings again. A man shouted as Declan, who is sitting on his chair with Ray behind standing next to him. Trace to where it's coming from and see if there are any cameras in that area. Declan ordered. Yes, sir. Everyone in the room shouted as they begin tracing the energy. Sir, we found it's by the West Ox, there's only one camera, but luckily the energy readings are right in front of it. Bringing it up now. A woman said as a screen was pulled up as they saw Naruto, Yudo and Cronions on the screen. Declan narrowed his eyes when he saw Naruto's face, no doubt the same person they saw last time, since the cloak he's wearing matches, so that's what you look like. Declan whispered to himself before his eyes glanced to Yudo, is that Sakaki? Declan thought to himself. Ray is watching the duel wondering how this will play out. I set 2 cards face down and end my turn. Naruto shouted as he played 2 face downs as Chrono Dran's spirit appeared. Naruto, this guy has experienced war before, since he is from the XYZ dimension, you shouldn't underestimate him for a second. Dran explained, not looking away from Yudo as Naruto nodded. I understand. Naruto replied as Dran vanished. Then it's my turn, draw. Yudo drew his card, I summon the Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak. Yudo slapped his card on his dual disc as the Ancient Cloak appeared, who made a hunting sound. 3 at 800 def 1000. When I control a Phantom Knight monster, I can special summon the Phantom Knights of Silent Boots from my hand. Yudo shouted as the Silent Boots appeared as it made a low ghostly chuckle. 3 at 200 def 1200. Do level 3s. Naruto said as he braced himself. With level 3 Ancient Cloak and Silent Boots, I overlay. Yudo shouted as both monsters became purple rays of energy that flew into a black galaxy portal that appeared on the ground before a pillar of light shot out of the portal. Souls of knights who fell on the battlefield. Revive here and now and become the light that breaks the darkness. XYZ summon. Appear. Rank 3, Phantom Knights Break Sword. Break Sword appeared and swung its sword as it landed on the ground with 2 purple orbs circling around it. RNK 3 at 2000 def 1000 or 2. Sir, we're picking strong XYZ summoning readings. A woman shouted as Declan glanced at the woman before glancing back at the duel. Battle. Break sword, attack Cronia's jackal. Yudo ordered as the horse galloped towards Cronia's as the knight raised its sword before bringing it down and slashed Chronotho's chest, breaking its staff in half in the process before it exploded as Naruto shielded himself from the expulsion. Naruto. 4000-3600. I play the trap zodiac star sign. Naruto shouted as the trap showed Chronoclaw and Chronotherapy looking up into the night sky, where they saw constellations of Chronobeat and Chronofang. With this, when a zodiac time beast is destroyed by battle or by my opponent's effect, I can special summon a zodiac time beast from my deck. I summon zodiac time beast, Chronoda's sheep. Naruto shouted as a small white lamb clad in pink and brass armor with brass rings adorned with green clock faces fitted on each hoof and its horns resembling a set of twisted gears, rubbed its eyes and let out a yawn. 3 at 300 def 1400. When Chronoda's sheep is special summoned, I can add a zodiac time beast from my deck to my hand. I add Chrono Dran. Naruto shouted as he added Chrono Dran to his hand. First a pig, then Chrono Dran, who is a dragon, a tiger, a hamster which was based off a rat, then the rabbit he discarded during his tag duel against Sylvio, a jackal which is a dog, and now a sheep which is based off the goat. Declan listed off the monsters with zodiac time beast in their names. That's 7 out of the 12 based on the Chinese zodiac signs, so that means he still has an ox, a snake, a monkey, a horse and a rooster, which we haven't seen yet. Ray added on as Declan nodded in agreement. Yes, let's see if we'll be able to see them in this duel. Declan said as they both paid close attention to the duel. Doesn't matter, add all the cards you want, I'll still get answers out of you. I sent 4 cards face down and end my turn. Naruto, cards in hand. 3. Yudo, cards in hand. 0. My turn. Draw. Naruto drew his card, looked at it, before grabbed another one, with scale 9 Chrono Dran and scale 2 Chrono Timer Leghorn. I set the pendulum zone. Naruto shouted as he placed Dran and small white mechanical rooster with green feathers and feet. There's the rooster. Ray said. Now I can summon monsters from 3 through 8 at the same time, but I won't do that, I play the trap zodiac jump gate. Naruto shouted as Chrono Dran and Chrono Tiger in the pendulum pillars as Chronodash and Chronobeat are leaping out of a purple portal. With this, when I placed Zodiac Time Beast in my pendulum zones, for each one I placed this turn, I can add a different Zodiac Time Beast from my deck to my hand, but I cannot summon monsters from my extra deck that are face down. Naruto confusing Yudo and the others at his wording. So I add Chronofang Tiger and Chronobeat Buffalo. Now I pendulum summon. Come forth my monsters. Naruto shouted as a portal opened from the sky as 2 beams of light appeared. From my hand, Chronofang Tiger. Naruto shouted as Chronofang appeared, 8 at 2500 def 3000, and rocking back from my extra deck. Chronotho's Jackal. Naruto shouted as Chronothos appeared again. 4 at 1600 def 1200. This shocked everyone when he said Chronothos came from the extra deck. Hang on, how was Chronothos in the extra deck? Yudo shouted. When a pendulum monster is destroyed, instead of going to the graveyard, they go to the extra deck instead. That's why I said I cannot summon monsters that are face down from my extra deck. I can special summon pendulum monsters who get put fasup when they go to the extra deck. Naruto said, shocking everyone. It seems the pendulum monsters are more powerful than we thought, brother. Ray said as Declan nodded in agreement. Yes, they are. Declan replied. Chrono Dran's pendulum ability. When I pendulum a zodiac time beast monster, I can destroy Dran to summon a zodiac time beat from my deck with the same level, but banish it during the end phase. So, by destroying Dran, I summon Chronojet Dragon. Naruto shouted as Dran was destroyed as Chronojet appeared on the field. 8 at 2500 def 2000. Yudo narrowed his eyes. I activate Chronojet's ability. By discarding a monster card and by banishing Chronojet, I can special summon a monster from my extra deck by ignoring its summoning conditions, and it counts as that summon. Naruto shouted as Yudo's eyes widen. So I discard Chronobeat Buffalo from my hand and banish Chronojet to XYZ summon. Naruto shouted as a spirit version of Beat Buffalo appeared as they both flew into a black galaxy portal in the sky before it exploded. XYZ summon. Yudo shouted. Dear dragon that decides fate, give your guidance to your comrades and lead them to an unknown destiny. XYZ summon. Appear. Rank 8. Gear Chronicle, Fate Rider Dragon. A massive golden machinal dragon appeared behind Naruto. RNK 8 at 3000 def 2200. Yudo is staring at the massive monster in surprise and awe as he can feel the power coming from it. Since I used Chronojet's effect to summon an XYZ monster, that monster gains an effect. Naruto snapped Yudo out of his surprised state and turned back to him as Fate Rider Dragon's eyes glowed. When the XYZ is successfully summoned, I target a Zodiac Time Beast or Gear Chronicle in my graveyard and that monster becomes that overlay unit. I target Chronobeat. Naruto shouted. A purple orb flew out of a black and purple portal as it circled around Fate Rider. Fate Rider's ability. By detaching one overlay unit, I send one monster on my field to the bottom of the deck and special summon a monster from my deck that is 1 or 2 levels higher. I send Chronidas to the bottom and summon Chronicharge Unicorn. Naruto shouted as Fate Rider turned to Chronidas as its eyes glowed. The portal appeared beneath Chronidas as it was stuck into the portal and as a sleek white mechanical unicorn that wore turquoise armor and had a purple mane and tail, along with a purple scarf around its neck. 4 at 1400 def 800. When Chronicharge is special summoned while I control another Zodiac Time Beast, Chronicharge gives all other Zodiac Time Beast 1000 attack points until the end of the turn. What? Yudo shouted in shock as Chronicharge fired blue lightning from its horn into the sky before it came back down and about to slam into Chronofang and Chronothos. I don't think so. I play the trap, Phantom Knight's Fog Blade. This not only prevents your monster from attack, but its effects are negated. I negate Chronicharge. A sword slammed in front of Charge Unicorn, making it whinny in pain as the blue lightning vanished. TCH, no matter. Chronothos attack Break Sword. Naruto ordered as Chronothos leaped towards Break Sword with its staff pulled back. Break Sword has more attack points. Yudo shouted. When Chronothos attacks, while I control another Zodiac Time Beast on my field, he gains 400 attack points. Naruto shouted as Chronothos powered up. 4 at 1600 to 2000 def 1200. Who can play that game? I play Phantom Knight Sword, which give Break Sword 800 more attack points. Yudo shouted as Yudo's XYZ monster's sword glowed purple. RNK 3 at 2000 to 2800 def 1000. When Chronothos came close enough to Break Sword, he swung its sword, slashing the machinal jackal, before destroying it again as Naruto grunted in pain. Naruto. 3600 to 2800. When Chronothos is destroyed by battle or by my opponent's card effect, I can special summon a Zodiac Time Beast with a lower level from my deck, but it's sent to the bottom at the end of the turn. I summon Chronoclaw Monkey. Naruto shouted as Chronoclaw appeared. 6 at 2000 def 1400. The monkey sign. Declan said as he saw Chronoclaw. Chronoclaw's ability. When this monster is summoned, while I control another Zodiac Time Beast, Chronoclaw gains 500 attack points. 6 at 2000 to 2500 def 1400. That's not enough attack points to get to Break Sword. Yudo shouted. Maybe not, but Fate Rider can. Fate Rider attack Break Sword. Fate Rider roared as it fired 2 golden orbs of light into the sky before they shattered and came raining down towards Break Sword. By sending Phantom's sword to the graveyard, Break Sword avoids destruction. Yudo shouted as Break Sword lifted its sword and shielded itself as the beam slammed into Break, creating expulsion after expulsion, making Yudo shield himself as he gritted his teeth in pain. Yudo. 4300. Once the explosions were done, Break Sword lost its glow to it. RNK 3 at 2800 to 2000 def 1000. After the battle, Fate Rider lets me draw 3 cards, I show you all 3, then I keep 2 and send 1 card to the bottom of the deck. Naruto explained as he drew his 3 cards, showed them to Yudo who narrowed his eyes when he saw them, a trap and 2 monsters. I send Chronovoli to the bottom of the deck. Naruto said as he sent Chronovoli to the bottom of the deck, Chronoclaw attack break sword. Chronoclaw leaped forward. I play the trap, the Phantom Knights of Wrong Magnetring. This negates an attack. The trap summoned a little monster as Chronoclaw slammed its claws into its magnet negating the attack, then it summons the Phantom Knights of Wrong Magnetring is summoned as a monster. 2 at 0 def 0. After Chronoclaw attacks, I draw 1 card, show it, and I put 1 card at the bottom of the deck. Naruto drew his card, show it to be Chrono Tiger, then he put Chrono Tiger at the bottom, since he doesn't need it. Chronofang attack Wrong Magnetring. Naruto ordered as Chronofang leaped towards Yudo's trap monster. By sending it and a Phantom Knight card on my field to the graveyard, I draw 2 cards. So, I send Phantom Knight's Fog Blade. Yudo shouted as Wrong Magnetring and Fog Blade vanished as Yudo drew 2 cards. In that case Chronofang attack Break Sword. Chronofang continued its dash as Chronofang slashed its claws into Break Sword destroying it and making Yudo grit his teeth again. Yudo. 3800 to 3300. When Break Sword is destroyed. I summon 2 Phantom from my graveyard and their levels increase by 1. I revive Ancient Cloak and Silent Boots. 3 to 4 at 200 def 1200, 3 to 4 at 800 def 1000. I'm not done yet. Chronofang's ability, after this monster attack, I draw 2 cards, show them, and then I send 1 card from my hand to the bottom of the deck. Naruto drew his 2 cards which was Lugil Ura and a spell card. He put Lugil Ura at the bottom. Now for Chronofang's other ability, after it attacked, I banish 1 Zodiac Time Beast monster I control to send 1 card on your field to the bottom of the deck. I banish Chronoclaw to send Ancient Cloak. Chronoclaw vanished as Ancient Cloak was sucked through a yellow portal that appeared underneath it. Yudo gritted his teeth against each other, and since you made the mistake of sending your Fog Blade to the graveyard, Chronochurge can attack Silent Boots. Chronochurge fired blue lightning from its horn that slammed into Silent Boots, created an explosion. When a Phantom Knight monster is destroyed, I can special summon the Phantom Knights of Fragile Armor from my hand. Yudo shouted as Fragile Armor appeared. 4 at 1000 def 2000. I set 1 card face down during the end phase, since I used Chronojet's ability to summon Fate Rider. Fate Rider is sent to the extra deck, and Chronojet is summoned from my banished zone. Naruto shouted Fate Rider glowed before it vanished as Chronojet appeared next to Chronofang. 8 at 2500 def 2000. My turn. I summon the Phantom Knights of Cloven Helm. Yudo shouted as Cloven Helm appeared. 4 at 1500 def 500. Do level 4s here it comes. Naruto thought to himself as he braced himself as well. I use Fragile Armor and Cloven Helm and overlay. Yudo shouted as both monsters became purple energy arrays as they flew up before coming back down into a black galaxy portal that appeared before it exploded. Formed from pitch black darkness to fight those foolish enough to oppose it with its treacherous fangs. Now, descend. XYZ summon. Rank 4. Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon. Yudo chanted as Dark Rebellion appeared and roared. RNK 4 at 2500 def 2000 or 2. So that's your ace. Naruto said. Yes, and I'll win this duel with Dark Rebellion, so you'll tell me where Ruri is. Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon's ability. By 1 overlay unit, I target 1 monster on your field, its attack points are cut in half, and that amount is added to Dark Rebellion. Tension discharge. Dark Rebellion screeched as one of its orbs vanished as its wings opened as purple lightning flew out of them as they slammed into Chronojet, making him yell in pain. 8 at 2500 to 1250 def 2000, RNK 4 at 2500 to 3750 def 2000 or 2-1. And I use its again. Tension discharge. Yudo shouted as the other orb vanished as the purple lightning slammed into Chronofang, making it yell in pain as well. 8 at 2500 to 1250 def 3000, RNK 4 at 3750 to 5000 def 2000 or 1-0. Battle. Dark Rebellion attack Chronofang Tiger. Yudo shouted as blue flames appeared behind Dark Rebellion's wings as the hook on its chin began to glow and flew towards Chronofang, revolt of lightning. Disobey. Yudo shouted. I play the trap, Zodiac Resolve. The trap showed Chronojet inside a blue force field as multiple red lasers as bounding off the force field. With this, while I control a Zodiac Time Beast, by having my life points I don't take damage from this attack. Naruto shouted as a blue force field surrounded him as Dark Rebellion slammed its hook into Chronofang's chest, creating a massive explosion as Naruto shielded himself as being pushed back. Naruto. 2800 to 1400. Once the smoke died down, Naruto raised his arm, and then after the battle, if I still control a Zodiac Time Beast or Gear Chronicle on my field, I get to add a Zodiac Time Beast from my deck to my hand. I add Zodiac Time Beast, Chronotherapy Hamster. I banish Phantom Knight's Fog Blade from my graveyard to summon a Phantom Knight from my graveyard. Come break sword. Yudo shouted as break sword came back. RNK3 at 2000 def 1000. Break sword attack Chronojet. Yudo shouted as break sword slashed Chronojet, making him explode as Naruto shielded himself from the explosion. Naruto. 1400 650. I end my turn. Yudo said as he started to pant. It's my turn, I draw. Naruto drew his card, looked at as his eyes widened, before he turned back to Yudo. I sent Scale 8 Chronotherapy Hamster into the pendulum scale. Naruto shouted as he reset his pendulum scale. Chrono Timer Leghorns effect. When I put a Zodiac Time Beast in my other pendulum scale, I can choose a scale between 1 and 10, and that monster's scale becomes that number. And I choose 10. Naruto shouted as the clock on Chrono Timer's clock begins spinning around as Therapy Hamster's scale became 10. Pendulum, summon come forth, my monster. Naruto shouted as 4 beams of light appeared out of a portal, Chronojet, Chronofang, Chronothos and Chronodran. Naruto shouted as his 4 monsters appeared. Now I release Chronochurch to summon Gear Chronicle Glimmer Breath Dragon. Naruto shouted as Glimmer Breath appeared. 6 at 2100 def 800. Activating Glimmer's Breath's ability. While I control Chronojet, Fang or Dran on my field, 1 card on your field is sent to the bottom of the deck. Naruto shouted as Glimmer Breath jackhammered its arms into the ground. What? Yudo shouted. I return Dark Rebellion to your extra deck. Naruto shouted as a portal appeared in the sky as Dark Rebellion was sucked into it before vanishing, shocking Yudo. Battle. Chronofang attack break sword. Naruto shouted as Chronofang slashed break, destroying it, making Yudo grunt in pain. Yudo. 3300 to 2800. Since I used Fog Blade to revive break sword, it's banished instead of going to my graveyard. Chronochurch attack Yudo directly. Chronochurch fired blue lightning from its horn. I banished the Phantom Knight sword to summon Silent Boots from my graveyard. Yudo shouted as Silent Boots appeared. Don't let that stop you, Chronochurch. Naruto shouted as the Machinal Unicorn continued its attack, slamming into Silent Boots and creating an explosion. Chronojet attack him directly. Chronojet engaged his thrusters before he flew towards Yudo, with his right fist reared back before he slammed it into Yudo's gut, making him cough saliva out. Yudo. 2800 300. Chronodran finish him off. Naruto shouted as Chronodran spun the wheels on his feet and he skated across the ground before leaping towards Yudo as Chronojet flew out of the way as Dran slammed his fist under Yudo's chin, sending him flying into the sky. Yudo. 300 000. I lost, I'm sorry Ruri. Yudo closed his eyes as all of the monsters vanished before he crashed on the ground. Naruto walked over at Yudo, who opened his eyes and turned to him. Let's talk. Naruto said as Yudo raised an eyebrow in response, but first. Naruto said as he picked up a rock, then threw it at a camera, smashing it. Declan, Ray and everyone are now watching a static screen. He knew we were watching him from the start. Declan said as Ray nodded in agreement. So, it would seem. Ray agreed with her half-brother. Time skip. Naruto is standing on top of a building with Yudo sitting next to him as their clothes blew from the wind. So you're not with Duel Academy? Yudo asked as Naruto shook his head in response. No, I'm not, just like you, I'm also fighting against Duel Academy and Leo Kaba. But my reasons are a bit more serious. Naruto replied as Yudo turned to him with a narrowed expression. Serious? Yudo asked as Naruto nodded. My partner can explain better than I can. Naruto said as Chronodran appeared, shocking and surprising Yudo. Greeting Yudo, I am Chronodran, leader of the Zodiac Time Beasts. Chronodran introduced himself, then explained what was really happening. By the end of the explanation, Yudo was shocked and surprised by this. I see, that is very serious. Yudo replied as Dran nodded in response. Indeed, and we have chosen Naruto to wield our powers and fix the dimensions before Leo causes a dimensional catastrophe. Dran said. I see. Yudo replied before not getting the picture. Now he has a much better understanding. And we need information. What do you know, Yudo? Naruto asked as Yudo turned back to the city. Not much, I'm afraid. We don't know why Duel Academy invaded our homeland and sealed other into cards. Yudo answered. So why are you here in Standard then? Dran asked. You see, we were told that Leo Akaba's son Declan Akaba lives in Standard, so we were gonna kidnap him and get him to trade him for Ruri. Yudo answered. Who's we? Naruto asked. Myself and Shay, Ruri's older brother. Yudo answered as Naruto nodded in response. Okay, is that all you know? Naruto asked as Yudo nodded in response. Not much of a lead, but thank you, Yudo. Naruto thanked Yudo as he gave him a piece of paper. Yudo saw a phone number on it, get in touch if you need us. Naruto said as Dran latched onto his right shoulder as Yudo smiled and nodded in response before Naruto vanished. Naruto huh? I'm glad he's on our side. Yudo said as he put his goggles and face mask back on before he vanished as well. Naruto reappeared on top of a building as Dran turned to him, so what are you thinking? Dran asked. Not sure, but since Declan will go after Yaya, since no doubt Sylvio will say that Yaya attacked him and injured him, since Yaya and Yudo look the same. Naruto said as Dran nodded in response. I agree. Dran said. And besides, this'll give us a chance to train Yaya in the art of pendulum summon. Naruto said as Dran nodded in agreement again. Yeah, I can that Yaya has potential. Dran said. Then we are in agreement. Naruto said before he vanished in a tornado. Yaya and Yuzu are walking towards Yaya's house since it's gotten late and her father said that he's fine with Yuzu staying at Yaya's house so long as she and Yaya come to the Yugioh tomorrow. Once past a lamp pole, you know. A voice called out to them surprising them as they turned and saw Naruto leaning against the lamp post they just passed. You? Yaya and Yuzu shouted surprised at seeing the cloaked person as they ran up to him. Naruto lowered his cloak showing his spiky blonde hair. Yeah it's me, I don't believe we met properly, I'm Naruto. Naruto introduced. I'm Yaya Sakaki. And I'm Yuzu Boyle. Thanks for helping and the others yesterday. Yaya said holding out his hand. It wasn't a problem really I just did what I knew was right. Naruto said shaking Yaya's hand. Hey Naruto, I remember you said something about a mission. What mission is that and who was that guy that chased after you? Yuzu asked. Yeah, I said that and my mission is to win a big dueling tournament in Paradise City. And as for that guy that chased me, I lost him. So he wasn't able to duel me. Naruto lied since he doesn't want them to know what's going. Both seemed to nod in response, though Yuzu seemed a bit more hesitant since she couldn't shake the feeling about the masked duelist from earlier. But she shook those thoughts for now since she wants to ask Naruto something, so Naruto where are you staying in Paradise City anyways? Yuzu asked causing Naruto and his spirits to stiffen up. Crap. We forgot all about that. The spirits mentally shouted as Naruto facepalmed. Are you okay? Yaya asked wondering why he facepalmed. Why yeah unfortunately I haven't made any plans to where I'm gonna be staying in the city, I can probably find some hotel to rent in while I'm waiting for a tournament. Naruto said. No way how about you come and stay with me and my mom while you're here we've got plenty of room. Yaya said. No that's fine I don't mean to and Naruto was cut off. No way it's no problem, especially after everything you did for us, saving Yuzu, Tate Frederick and Ally. Yaya said. Naruto thought about it. Agree to it since it would be best if we have a place to stay. Dran said appearing in his spirit form so that only Naruto can see him as he nodded softly so the two in front of him wouldn't notice. I mean if your parents are okay with it. Naruto answered. Yaya nodded, of course, my mother wouldn't mind since Sora is also staying at my place as well. Say Naruto I've been curious have you joined any duel school? Yuzu asked hoping that he'll join her school. Nah I don't really intend of joining any either. Naruto stated as he rubbed the back of his head. Oh Yuzu said disheartened to hear this. Suddenly Naruto felt bad since he hated seeing girls upset so he decided to cheer her up but since you guys offered me some place to stay, I guess I wouldn't mind coming by and teaching you guys a few things. Because it looks like you guys could really use some lessons in the extra summoning methods. Naruto said. Yeah, that would be great. Yuzu said excitedly knowing her dad would be happy to hear this. Okay we can all head to Yugioh since tomorrow is Sunday. Yaya said. Sure, sounds good to me, lead the way. Naruto said putting his hands in his pockets under his cloak as Yaya and Yuzu nodded as they continued to walk to Yaya's home with Naruto now following him. Yaya's got some real potential but looks like he's only cracked the basics on pendulum summoning he has a long way to go before he can unlock its hidden strength. Naruto thought to himself. That's true his odd eyes pendulum dragon holds a great power but the boy's yet to fully tap into that power. Kronotho stated. Yeah but Dran said as he also appeared. What? Naruto glanced at his partner. I don't know I feel a dark power. Dran answered as he stared at Naruto. Why didn't you feel it when we met? Naruto asked. Because we had other things to worry about and I was saving Yuzu and those kids. Dran answered as Naruto nodded in response as he glanced back at Yaya. Yaya Sakai just who are you? Naruto whispered. Yaya's eyes slowly opened, he groaned as he leaned up and sat on his bed rubbing his left eye. Man, what a day yesterday. Yaya said still sleepy before he yawned and stretched his arms out wide, then stood up. Then he started sniffing as he closed his eyes with a smile, mom must be making pancakes. Yaya said as he left his room and walked down the stairs. Morning mom, I'm looking forward to your pan. Yaya stopped saying as he saw Yoko and Sora at the table eating pancakes while Naruto, who is wearing a blue t-shirt in the middle, it looks like a black silhouette of Chronodran's head, black trousers, blue joggers. And wearing a white no-sleeve jacket, and on the upper left side of the jacket is a black symbol on the front. The symbol is a hexagon in the form of a diamond, and on the top left and bottom right are two gears that almost touch each other. What? Yaya shouted in shock as he pointed at Naruto, who turned to him. Hey Yaya. Naruto said. Morning Yaya. Yoko. Hey Yaya. You got to try these pancakes. They are delicious. Sora said as he ate a mouthful of pancakes. What is going on? Sora, why are still in my house, and Naruto, why are you here and making breakfast? Yaya shouted as Naruto and Yoko raised an eyebrow. Well, I'm here cause Yoko is so young and nice to let me. Sora said as Yoko blushed happily. Oh, thank you. Also, don't you remember what happened last night Yaya? Yoko gushed before asking her son. Flashback. I see. Yoko said as she is standing in front of Yaya and Naruto, who are sitting on the couch. So, mom, can he stay? After all, he helped me and saved Yuzu and the kids. Yaya requested as Yoko turned to Naruto, who stared at him until she smiled. Of course, he can. Any friends of Yaya who need help are more than welcome to stay here. Yoko said as Naruto smiled gratefully. Thank you, ma'am, I'm in your care. Naruto bowed from his place on the couch. Flashback ends. Oh yeah. My bad. Yaya rubbed the back of his neck sheepishly, but then turned back to confused, but that still doesn't explain why he's making pancakes. Yoko sighed, well, he wanted to do something nice for us, as a thank you for letting him live here. But I said that wasn't necessary, but he insisted. Yoko said. Yeah, and besides, you and Sora aren't complaining. Naruto said as he finished the last batch of pancakes as he put them on two plates and put one next to him and the other in front of him. Well, Yaya. Here's breakfast. Naruto said as Yaya smiled. Thank you. Yaya said as he sat down next to Naruto and all four started eating with Naruto thinking. This is the first time in ages I've sat with anyone at a family table. Naruto thought to himself as he remembered who taught him how to cook as well. Flashback. The young Naruto, who is about 6, had been walking away from home while his sisters, brother and parents were off training. He felt his stomach rumble a bit and realized he hadn't eaten anything before wandering off. Hey, are you okay? A girl asked. She was a few years older than Naruto and had dark brown hair. I'm okay, just a little hungry, that's all. Naruto said bashfully. Oh. Then come with me. The girl said, taking hold of the boy's hand. That was the day Naruto had met the Ichiraku family. They were the owners of a local ramen shop ran by Tucci and his daughter Am. Naruto enjoyed the ramen they'd cooked, which he was used to at home, as his mother cooked it pretty much every day. After a while he'd started to lose his tastes for it. After getting to know the two of them, Naruto found he really enjoyed their company. One day Naruto had surprised them by asking if they wouldn't mind teaching them if they could teach him how to cook. Tucci was surprised by this, and when he'd asked Naruto why, the boy said that he didn't want to be reliant on his parents all the time and wanted to learn to cook for himself. Tucci suspected there might have been more to it than he was letting on, but agreed to show him some basics. Over the time Naruto found that he actually enjoyed learning to cook. It was refreshing and new experience for him, but he especially liked that it had led him to some of the few people he could rely on in Konoha, who saw him as more than the Hokage's failure of a son. Flashback end. I wonder how they are doing. Naruto thought to himself in sadness, since he never left them a note before leaving the village. He just hopes they understand. And now. A voice on the television shouted as Naruto was broken out of his thoughts, as everyone turned watched what was happening on the screen. We've reached the finale of the EuroLeague dueling tournament. And we have Mamoru Anju, who comes from Paradise City and is a master of using the Dragonic Blade Master deck that hails from the Kajero. The announcer shouted as the screen showed Mamoru smiling. I summoned Dragonic Blade Master. Mamoru shouted as a bipedal dragon holding a sword appeared and roared as it swung its sword out and attack. Mamoru shouted as Dragonic Blade Master swung its sword, creating a red crescent blade of energy that slammed into Summon's skull, making it screech before it exploded as his opponent was sent flying. And it's over. The winner of the EuroLeague is Mamoru Anju. The announcer shouted as the crowd cheered. But the people watching, Yaya was in awe, Sora and Naruto was interested. Wow, that guy is good. Yaya said. Yeah, for sure, I don't think that guy stood a chance. Sora said. Yeah, kinda makes me want to duel him. Naruto said. I think he would be a good challenge. Dran said as he appeared in spirit form next to Naruto. Yoko stared at the screen before a light bulb appeared above her head as she remembered something. That reminds me. Yoko said as the boys turned to her as she turned to Naruto. Naruto, starting today, you'll be going to the same school as Yaya. Yoko said, surprising Naruto and Yaya. Why? Naruto asked. You can't spend all day here, and besides, since you're staying here for the unforeseen future, you should try and make some new friends. Yoko said as the three boys stared at her. We don't have time to waste, we need to get ready for when Duel Academy show up. Confronting said as he appeared. I disagree, I think this will be a good chance to try and build up allies. Dran said as Confronting turned to him and stared at him. I suppose you're right, Dran. Try and make trustworthy allies, Naruto. Confronting said as Naruto nodded in response. Okay, I'll go. Naruto said as Yoko smiled. Perfect. I'll get the paperwork sorted out when we get there. Yoko said as they finished breakfast before heading out. Meanwhile, a jet was in the sky and a middle-aged woman who had purple hair and was wearing a red-like dress was looking at her tablet, looking at the news online about her and Leo Corporation, causing her to smirk. The woman's name is Henrietta Akaba, the chairwoman of Leo Corporation and principal of the Leo Duel School. Paradise City. Airport. Henrietta walked out of the airplane and towards the lobby, with accompanied by two men in suits wearing sunglasses, and they are dragging a couple of suitcases. The woman walked out the airport where Claude awaited her with a limousine. He opened the door of her as she stepped inside. She was greeted to the side of Ray. R.A., I wasn't expecting to see you, Ray, but it is a welcome sight. Henrietta said with a smile. It is good to see you, mother. How was your business overseas? Ray asked. It went well as we speak. Leo has now obtained a prominent presence in over 80% of the world. It won't be long before other dual schools expect a curriculum and we gain presence in every part of the world. The chairwoman said. Speaking of Declan, apologizes for not coming to see you, but recent events have caught his attention. Ray said. Certain events? Henrietta asked, curious as to what these events are. Recently a new summoning method has appeared known as pendulum summoning. Ray said, confusing her mother. Pendulum summoning? Henrietta replied. Yes, but not only that, but a new duelist has shown up with a deck that makes our systems go off whenever he plays a monster. Ray explained, surprising Henrietta. Really? Henrietta asked as Ray nodded her head as the limo stopped as the door opened as the two women got out and headed towards the building. Once they reached the top floor, they saw Declan sitting at his desk. Welcome back, mother. He spoke out as she came to him. Ah, Declan, Ray has informed about your study into this new pendulum summoning. From what I hear, it's unlike fusion, synchro, or XYZ summoning. From what I hear, it's unlike anything the world has seen before. Henrietta said. Yes, mother, it's true. Declan said, adjusting his glasses. I think you should better sit down. Declan took a remote and a screen lowered down behind him. These bits of footage we compiled should tell the whole story. The screen displayed Yaya performing his pendulum summoning. How can this be? Henrietta asked her son. By way of new type of card known exactly as a pendulum card. Declan explained. By using two of them you can summon out numerous high-level monsters. It's a very powerful technique. These cards, where did they come from? Henrietta asked. We have our best people looking into that as we speak. Though so far they've come up with nothing. Ray said, though there is a lead quite promising and you will think the same way, dear mother. I'm intrigued, please go on. Henrietta said with a smile. It's in regard to the duelist who first used these cards. Declan said as an image of Yaya was displayed showing his dueling information. His name is Yaya Sakaki. He's a 14-year who attends a cut-rate duel school known as Yugioh while being in the Arc League Junior. His duel record is 46 matches with 26 wins and 20 losses. Ryuji explained. So, he's an average duelist at best. Surely, Declan, you're not suggesting that someone like this is not responsible for pioneering such a cutting-edge summoning method? Henrietta remarked, unimpressed. Did I mention he's Yugioh Sakaki's son? Ryuji said as her eyes widened in shock. Yugioh Sakaki? She exclaimed, the same Yugioh Sakaki that vanished 3 years ago. Are you saying he's back to cause us trouble? I don't know, but we must find out. There is another matter we have to address as well. Declan said, pulling up Naruto's picture and stats in place of Yaya's. Is this the duelist that Ray told me about, the one that are making our systems go off? Henrietta asked as Declan nodded. Yes, his name is Naruto Uzumaki. So far his duel record is 2 duels, both of which he has won. We have no information on his personal life, only that he recently arrived in Paradise City and taking up residence in the Sakaki residence. He is also the only other confirmed user of pendulum summoning. Declan said. So, there's another duelist capable of doing it. Henrietta remarked, intrigued. He's also using a new type of monster we've never seen before known as Gear Chronicle. Declan said, brining up images of Naruto's previous 2 duels, showing the various Gear Chronicle monsters along with their states. We have further information on where these cards came from so far, we've only been able to gain small amounts of data on them, they all appear to be part a new type called the Cybers. Cybers type, Gear Chronicle. Henrietta said looking over the various monsters, and you haven't been able to find out any further information on this young man. That's correct, but his arrival has provided useful data due to these monsters that he's summoned. Declan explained as a bunch of screens appeared showing images of all of the zodiac time beasts that Naruto has summoned so far, with Chronojet and Chronodran at the front. These monsters in particular have been helping us a lot. Declan said. And why is that? Henrietta asked. They are called the zodiac time beast, and so far, we haven't seen all of them, since me and Ray guessed that there are 12 of them. So far, he's only played 10 of them, and the dragon and tiger have 2 forms. Also, the reason they have been helping us a lot is because of the readings. Have a look. Declan answered as he showed the readings of the monsters surprising and shocking Henrietta. These readings, they're off the charts. Henrietta said, shocked by the readings of these monsters since they are way more powerful than average. Indeed, and not only that, but he is a skilled duelist based on the 2 duels we have on him. Have a look. Declan said as he pulled up a video of Naruto and Yaya against Sylvio and Yamab, and then the one against Yudo. Henrietta watched the duels impressed by the blonde-haired teen and this Yudo. Impressive, very impressive, he clearly knows what he's doing. Henrietta said. Indeed, he won't be easy to take down, that's for sure. Ray replied. And I assume that you've been researching this in Yaya Sakaki's data, right? Henrietta asked. Of course, mother. Both sets of the data have been very useful and has been allowing us to further the development of our own pendulum cards. Declan explained. Ah. I would expect nothing less. Henrietta praised her son before turning to Ray. I would assume one of those decks is for you as well, Ray. That is correct, but they are still far from being perfected, but within the next few days they'll be ready for a proper field test. Ray said. Henrietta nodded, pleased to hear it from her stepdaughter. It was still odd as Henrietta had come across the girl a year following Leo's disappearance. When she had learned she was Leo's daughter, she was furious with her husband, believing the girl to be the product of an affair, but the look of innocence and sadness in Ray's eyes told her another story. It wasn't long until she had discovered the girl was suffering from amnesia, recalling nothing of her old life but her name and that of her father Leo Akaba. Unwilling to tackle her hate for her husband on this girl, Henrietta took on the role of raising Ray as her own. Good, and I assume you have an opponent in mind? Henrietta asked as Ray turned to the screen with Naruto's image. I see. Henrietta said. What better way to test out the cards than to use it against the person who helped us? Ray asked as Henrietta and Declan nodded in response. Plus, it'll give us more readings if you're the one dueling him. Declan said as Ray nodded in response. Declan turned his chair around looking downwards at the city. Let's hope that we'll be ready. Declan said as Ray and Henrietta nodded as they joined him and looking down at the city. Outside of Paradise Prep. It was nice of Yoko that she signed your forms that'll allow you to come to our school, Naruto. Yuzu said as Naruto nodded. Yeah, it was very nice of her. Naruto said as they arrived at the school. A bit after the trio entered the building, a car pulled up as a young girl with green hair and hazel eyes, wearing a white singlet but a short-sleeved navy blue overcoat, a red wrap skirt that does down to her knees and green and white shoes. Thanks, mother. The green hair girl said. The woman who looked like a grown-up version of the green hair girl, of course, Takoha, don't forget, we'll be having a family dinner since your brother is coming home today. She said as the girl identified as Takoha nodded with a smile. Of course, mother. Bye. Takoha said as she closed the door as the car drove away and Takoha walked inside the school. Meanwhile, Yaya, Naruto, and Yuzu were making their ways through the halls of Paradise Prep School. They took Naruto to the council to get Naruto's schedule, and it turns out that he has the same classes with Yaya and Yuzu. So, the trio are making their way to their first class. Naruto took notice of a young girl around their age, with long pale orange hair, wearing a one-piece purple dress that goes down to her knees with a white collar and 3 buttons on the top. She also has pale pink, long sleeve, silk coat, black stockings and black shoes. She is kneeling on the floor desperately searching for something. Oh no, where is it? The girl asked herself while desperately looking around for something. Naruto then spotted a loaf of cricket bread that is wrapped up behind her, so he walked over, leaving the pair who kept walking, picked it up. Excuse me, are you looking for this? Naruto said as the girl turned around as he held up cricket bread, much to the girl's joy. Oh, thank you so much. The girl said in joy as she stood up as Naruto handed her the bread. Kumi, are you okay? A voice asked as the girl identified as Kumi and Naruto turned as Takoha walked to Kumi before turning and giving a glare at Naruto. Is this guy bothering you? Oh, hi Takoha, I'm fine. I just lost my cricket and he helped me. Kumi explained the situation, surprising Takoha before she blushed a bit in embarrassment. Oh, I am sorry about that, Takoha uttered, surprised. Naruto waved it off, not unsweated. He replied, making her smile. Hey Naruto, so this is where you went? Yaya called out as the trio turned and saw him and Yuzu walking up to them as Kumi smiled. Hello Yuzu, Yaya. Kumi greeted the pair as Yuzu smiled at Kumi. "Oh, hello Takoha, Kumi." Yuzu greeted the two girls. "Hello Yuzu." Takoha greeted her as well. "Oh, so you guys know each other?" Naruto asked. "Yep, Kumi and Takoha are actually in the same class as us," Yuzu said. "Oh? Then I guess that means we're classmates. My name's Naruto." Naruto said, greeting the two girls. "Well, it's nice to meet you Naruto. I'm Takoha Anju." Takoha greeted as Naruto nodded before he remembered Mamoru Anju from the TV earlier. They must be relative. Naruto thought to himself as he can see the similarities between the pair. "I'm Kumi Okazaki and thank you helping me Naruto," Kumi said with a smile as Naruto smiled back. "Don't mention it," Naruto replied. "Hey guess, we got to get to class," Yuzu said as the group nodded before they headed towards the first class. Time skip. It was the end of class, as right now Naruto, Yae, Yuzu, Takoha and Kumi are walking out of the school. "I got to go now, my brother is coming home and we got to get dinner ready," Takoha said as she noticed her mother's car was outside the school. "No worries Takoha, enjoy your dinner, see you tomorrow," Kumi said. "See you later Takoha and it was nice meeting you," Naruto said as Takoha smiled and nodded in response before she got into the front seat, closed the door and drove off. Her mother glanced at Takoha with a sly smirk. "So Takoha, who was that blonde boy?" she asked as Takoha sighed knowing where this was already going. "His name is Naruto and he's a new student that just transferred," Takoha said. "Oh, is that all?" she asked. "Yes mom, that's all," Takoha replied in an annoyed tone as her mother chuckled. "Alright, I'll drop it then. For now anyway," she said before she thought to herself. Anju residence. The Anju family were sitting down at the table about to dine on a nice hot pot as a welcome home dinner for Mamoru. "Dinner's served," Takoha said handing a bowl to her brother. "Hey looks great," Mamoru said as he began to chow down. "How does it taste?" Mrs. Anju asked. "Delicious as always," Mamoru said with a warm smile. "You've been away from home for so long fill up while you can," Mr. Anju said. "I did the seasoning," Takoha said as she sat down beside her brother. "So Takoha," Mamoru said catching his sister's attention, "have you been dueling a lot?" "Yeah, I guess," Takoha replied while shrugging her shoulders a bit. "That's good. There's been a rumor going around about a new deck and type. Have you heard anything about it?" Mamoru asked. "I thought people were just making things up," Takoha answered. "I don't know, it could just be a rumor," Mamoru replied. Takoha began to give it some thought when she noticed her father going for a piece of beef. "Don't touch that yet, the meat isn't done cooking," she shouted in a scolding tone. "Oh, okay," he said in a bashful tone as Mrs. Anju giggled at her daughter's and husband's interaction. "This mystery deck is called Gear Chronicle, it's part of a new type called Cybers," Mamoru said. "I didn't actually know it was called that," Takoha said. "The name's all I could confirm," Mamoru said. "The bad," Takoha said. "But word has it that the only deck belongs to someone in the city and actually it's also said to be another deck capable of using the new pendulum summoning," Mamoru stated. "No way, I thought only Ayasakaki could do that," Takoha shouted surprised by that. "I heard about from Declan Akaba himself so it's reliable info," Mamoru said surprising Takoha even more. "The president of Leo Corporation?" Takoha asked as Mamoru nodded in response. "Yeah, so if you get any hints on who has it, please let me know, I wanna see it for myself," Mamoru requested as Takoha smiled and nodded in response. "Leave it to me, there's nothing that you wouldn't do for my big brother," Takoha replied. And with that done, the family started to eat dinner. The next day. It was the middle of the day, it was now lunchtime, as Yuzu, Takoha and Kumi are walking outside until they a bulky looking student smirking at Yae, who is looking at the ground with his goggles over his eyes. "You're nothing but a cheater, since without your cheap and gimmicky summoning method you wouldn't have won," the guy said as Takoha and Yuzu glared while Kumi frowned before the green hair stomped towards the group. "Hey!" Takoha shouted as everyone turned, "Who do you think you are?" Saying that Yae cheated. Takoha shouted, gaining the attention of a lot of students. The bully merely scoffed, "This loser used a summoning method that no one else has, how is that fair?" the bully said as the girls narrowed their eyes at him. "Well then." A voice called out as everyone turned to Naruto, "How about we duel? I win, you have to apologize to Yae. You win, I'll give you my best card," Naruto said, surprising his friends, Yae and Yuzu more, while the bully smirked. "Deal, just be ready to hand over your card," the bully said as they took position, as Yae and Yuzu ran up to Naruto as Yae lifted his goggles. "Naruto, you don't have to," Yae said. "It's fine, after all, I can stand people like him. They remind me too much of something I know," Naruto replied as the pair turned to each other, then back to him, nodded in response as they backed up. Both duelists inserted their decks into their duel disc as the decks got shuffled. Duel. Naruto and the bully shouted as they both drew 5 cards. Naruto. 4,000. Bully. 4,000. I'll talk the first move. I draw. The bully shouted as he drew his card, smirked, but playing it, I play the spell Ancient Rules. This allows me to summon a level 5 or higher normal monster from my hand. So, I special summon Garnisha Elephantis. The bully shouted as he summoned a huge elephant warrior. Naruhina. Garnisha Elephantis shouted before it glared at Naruto, who remained unfazed by this. 7 at 2400 def 2000. All of the students are in awe by the fact that he summoned a powerful monster on his first turn, while Yae, Yuzu, Tokoha and Kumi are worried for Naruto. How's that, punk? Maybe next time you should not get involved in matters that don't concern you. I end my turn. The bully said as Naruto stared at him. My turn? Draw. Naruto said as he drew his card, glanced at it, before glancing back at the bully. Earlier you said that Yae was the only one who can pendulum summon, didn't you? Naruto asked, confusing everyone, apart from Yae and Yuzu, as they know what's coming. Yeah, so? The bully asked. Let me teach you a lesson. With scale 1 Chrono Tiger and scale 9 Chrono Dran I set the pendulum scale. Naruto shouted as he placed his 2 cards in the pendulum zone, as 2 blue pillars appeared as Tiger and Dran appeared. Now I can summon monsters that are 2 through 8 at the same time. Naruto shouted. Everyone apart from Yae and Yuzu were shocked by this. It can't be. The bully shouted as he started to sweat. The dawn of time that governs the dimensions appear and show everyone your true power. I pendulum summon. Appear, my friends. Naruto shouted as a portal opened up and 2 lights poured out of the portal and shined down on Naruto's field. Appear, Chronoclaw Monkey and Chronofang Tiger. Naruto shouted, both of his monsters appeared. 6 at 2000 def 1400, 8 at 2500 def 3000. Everyone is staring at Naruto's field in shock. Wow, Naruto is so cool. Kumi said in awe and with stars in her eyes. Tokoha is also in shock. No way. She thought to herself. The bully was now fully sweating. But how? He asked in shock. I don't have to answer that. And I guess that means that your statement is bullshit. So, I'm gonna end this now. I activate Chrono Dran's pendulum ability. When I pendulum summon a zodiac time beast I can destroy Dran, and then I target one of my pendulum summon monsters, and then I get to summon a zodiac time beast from my deck with the same level. Naruto shouted as Dran vanished as a card appeared out of Naruto's deck. He grabbed it and showed it. Zodiac Tim Beast. Tokoha thought to himself. So, by targeting my level 8 Chronofang Tiger, I can special summon my ace. Lead us to the future and open to a new world. Chronojet Dragon. Naruto shouted as Chronojet appeared, swung its right fist forward. 8 at 2500 def 2000. In addition to that, Chronoclaw's ability. When this monster is summoned, well, there's another Zodiac Time Beast on my field. Chronoclaw gains 500 attack points. Naruto shouted as Chronoclaw surrounded by a green aura. 6 at 2000 to 2500 def 1400. The bully is now sweating like crazy. Battle. Chronoclaw attacked Garnisha Elephantis. Naruto shouted as Chronoclaw leaped forward and passed Elephantis, slicing it in half before it shattered, and the bully grunted. Bully. 4,3900. And with that out of the way, Chronojet and Chronofang attack him directly. Naruto shouted as the two engaged their jets, flew towards the bully, as he screamed like a girl, but the pair flew past him, since Naruto turned off the psychical feature, as the bully fainted from shock with drool coming out of his mouth. Bully. 3900 to 0000. Naruto's monsters vanished as one person started to clap, which was Kumi, then all of the other students started clapping as Yae and Yuzu ran up to him. Thanks Naruto, I really appreciate it. Yae said. No worries, we're friends. Naruto replied. Soon a crowd of students surrounded Naruto and started asking him question after question, pushing Yae away. Yae was casted out with swirly eyes before he collapsed on the ground in front of Yuzu, Tokoha and Kumi. Hey Yuzu, Yae. Tokoha said as Yae lost the swirls in his eyes as she gained their attention. I've never heard of Zodiac Time Beast before. Tokoha said. Yae got back into his feet. Yeah, but it either called that or Gear Chronicle. Yae replied as Tokoha eyes widened. No way. Tokoha shouted in shock as everyone turned to him as she turned to Naruto, who escaped and is running away. The deck my brother told me about belongs to him. Tokoha thought to herself. While this was happening, a young man around the same age as Naruto, with light blonde hair that goes down to his shoulders, wearing a blue t-shirt, gray jeans and black sneakers, was watching the duel from inside a classroom on the second story. The young man smiled. That was certainly interesting to watch. Naruto, huh? The young man thought to himself before he walked away. Time skip. I'm glad that's over. Naruto said exhausted as he, Yaya and Yuzu are walking towards the Yugioh school, since Naruto promised them he would. He managed to escape a group of students who were asking questions until no end, which overwhelmed him to no end. But a lot of students found him again. So, this time, he answered each question after shouting one at a time. Since he answered all of the questions they left him alone, but a lot of rumors were now going around the school about him. Luckily school ended, but they saw Takoha dragging Kumi out of the classroom without saying goodbye to them and just left the school. They didn't know where they went, but assumed that it must have been something important. After a while of navigating streets and playing keep away with Yuzu, and Yaya pointed out a building to him. There it is. Yuzu said. What greeted him was an asymmetrical building that seemed less like a school and more like a play park for kids, assuming that really was a slide and climbing walls he was looking at. He was a little curious how such a thing was even stable enough to stay upright, but decided he should focus on ending the chase, now that they had made it. They walked inside where Sora, Tate, Ally and Frederick were outside and greeted them, "Hey, Yaya, Yuzu." Tate shouted as the three kids ran towards them. Then they noticed Naruto. "Hello, Sora told us that you were the one who saved us. Thank you very much." Ally said as she as well as the others bowed and said, "Thank you." But Naruto smiled as rubbed the top of their heads, "Don't mention it, I'm glad I could help." Naruto replied. "Nice to see you guys here." Sora gained their attention, "Also there are two people inside talking to your dad Yuzu." Sora continued confusing the trio as they walked in and made their way to the lounge room door. "Hey dad." Yuzu shouted. She opened the door as everyone walked in, with Yaya, Yuzu and Naruto's eyes widen in surprise as they saw a man who Naruto assumed was Yuzu's father. But that was surprised them. On the other couch was Takoha and Kumi who also sitting. The pair turned to the group as Kumi waved at them, "Hi guys." Kumi greeted the group. "Kumi, Takoha, what are you two doing here?" Yuzu asked. "Well, truth be told. I don't know, Takoha suddenly dragged me here." Kumi answered as Takoha rubbed the back of her head. "Sorry about that, but I'm here for one thing." Takoha said as she directed her gaze at Naruto and held her deck towards him. "Naruto, I challenge you." Takoha shouted, surprising everyone. Naruto stared at her. "If you don't mind me asking, why?" Naruto asked. Takoha smirked. "My brother told me that he wanted to tell him about whatever I find out about this new deck that was called Gear Chronicle. And since you have it, what better way to find out about it is to duel against it firsthand. So, what do you say?" Takoha asked. Then Naruto smirked, "You're on." Naruto replied as Dran appeared in spirit form. "Yeah, it sounds like she'll be fun to duel against." Dran agreed. "Yeah, it's why I want to duel her." Naruto replied. Skip jumped off the couch. "Okay, then kids." Naruto and Takoha head to the dueling ring, everyone else to the view gallery. Skip shouted as the group walked out as Naruto and Takoha took their places in the dueling field. The two got out their duel discs, which Takoha's is a bright green, inserted their decks into the slots. As the decks got shuffled, "So Takoha, where do you want to duel?" "I let you choose." Naruto said as Takoha smirked as she turned to Skip. "Give us the duel field, Endless Forest." Takoha shouted as Skip nodded. "Alright kids, get ready for the forest." Skip shouted as he pressed the button and the machine below them came to life as the area around them changed, and soon, they were surrounded by massive trust that seems to go on forever. "Oh wow, what a cool looking field," Tate said. Sora licked his lollipop. "I'm interested to see what this new girl can do." Sora said. "Same here." Ally agreed, excited to seeing this. "You'll see." Kumi said with a smile. "You ready, Takoha?" Naruto shouted. "I'm always ready." Takoha shouted back. Aware to everyone is that three people who are Declan, Ray and Henrietta, who managed to sneak in as they are all wearing headed jumpers, are watching the duel. "Now we get to see up close how good this boy is," Henrietta said softly so the rest won't hear them. "Yes, but it also gives us a chance to see how good Takoha Anju, the younger sister of Mamoru Anju, is," Declan added on. "For sure. I think it'll be a match worth remembering," Ray said. "Duel." Naruto and Takoha shouted. Chapter 4 Gear Chronicle vs Nay Nectar. Duel. Naruto and Takoha shouted as they both drew 5 cards. Takoha. 4,000. Naruto. 4,000. "I'll start. I summon Neo Nectar, Valkyrie of Reclamation, Padmini." Takoha shouted as Padmini appeared. 4 at 1600 def 800. "Neo Nectar?" Tate asked. "I never heard of them either." Frederick said, confused as well. "Wow, that monster is really pretty," Ally said with stars in her eyes. Neo Nectar is a deck that focuses on summoning monsters from the deck that allows themselves to grow stronger. Kumi said as the others turned to her. "I see, is Takoha good?" Yaya asked, never seeing her duel before. Kumi turned to them and nodded. "Yeah, she taught me how to duel." Kumi said as everyone was interested as they turned back to the duel. When Valkyrie of Reclamation, Padmini is summoned, I can add one card with Asha from my deck to my hand. I add Ranunculus Flower Maiden, Asha. Takoha shouted as she added Asha to her hand, then I discard one card from my hand. I set one card face down and end my turn. Takoha shouted as she sent one card from her hand to the graveyard, then placed one face down card. Then it's my turn, draw. Naruto drew his card, looked at it, before playing it, I summon, Zodiac Time Beast, Chrono Tiger. Naruto shouted as Chrono Tiger appeared. 3 at 1000 def 1500. So, this is Naruto's Gear Chronicle, but what does Zodiac Time Beast mean? Takoha thought to herself. I activate Tiger's ability, I can banish it and one Zodiac Time Beast in my hand and summon Chronofang Tiger from my deck. So, I banish Chronospin Spirit from my hand and Tiger. Naruto shouted as a black portal appeared behind Tiger and a card form of Spin Spirit appeared. Both Tiger and Spirit were absorbed into the portal as Chronofang Tiger leaped out of the portal, landed in front of Naruto. 8 at 2500 def 3000. When Spin Spirit is banished by an effect, Spin Spirit is summoned in defense mode. Naruto shouted as a sleek medium-sized mechanical serpent with a large gear around its neck appeared curled up and with a blue line around it. 4 at 1700 def 900. While I control 2 Zodiac Time Beast or Gear Chronicle on my field, I can summon Gear Chronicle, Pulsar Tamer, Yugioh. Naruto shouted as Yugioh appeared in the sky before he landed with a smirk on his face. 6 at 2200 def 500. Takoha grunted, 3 monsters at once. Takoha thought to herself in shock. Now for Spin Spirit's other effect, when a Zodiac Time Beast of Gear Chronicle is summoned, I can return Spin to the deck and add a Zodiac Time Beast with a lower level than the summoned monster. Since Yugioh is level 6 I can add a level 6 or lower Zodiac Time Beast to my hand. Naruto shouted as Spin Spirit rose up, started spinning the gear around its head, then dove into the ground before vanishing it. I add Chrono Dran to my hand. Naruto shouted as Spin Spirit returned to his deck and he added Dran to his hand, then his dual disc shuffled his deck. Battle. Yugioh attacked Padmini. Naruto ordered as Yugioh dashed forward and fired a stream of purple energy from his gun at Padmini. I play the trap the continuous, Nectar Shield. Takoha shouted as the trap showed a young woman with green hair, holding a flower shield with her right hand, blocking a beam of fire at small plant-like creatures. With this, when you attack my Neo-Nectar monsters, that monster can't be destroyed one per turn. Padmini raised her arms as Yugioh's attack slammed into Padmini making her shout in pain, but you still take damage. Naruto shouted as Takoha grunted as she shielded herself. Takoha. 4300. Takoha lowered her arms when the attack was over, Chronofang attacked Padmini. Naruto ordered as Chronofang leaped and slashed Padmini making her screech in pain before she exploded as Takoha grunted in pain once again. Takoha. 3400 to 2500. Light Trap has another effect, when a Neo-Nectar is destroyed by battle, I can add a copy of that monster from my deck to my hand. So, I add another Padmini. Takoha shouted as she added Padmini to her hand. Chronofang's ability. After that battle, I draw 2 cards and show them to you, then I put one card from my hand on the bottom of the deck. Naruto shouted as he drew his 2 cards and showed them, revealing Chronovoli Rabbit and Zodiac Roll. He placed both of them in his hand as he put a different card on the bottom of the deck. I set one card face down and end my turn. Naruto shouted as he ended his turn with a face down card. Takoha cards in hand. 5. Naruto cards in hand. 4. My turn, draw. Takoha drew her card, looked at it, added it to her hand, then grabbed another card, played the field spell, Flower Maiden's Garden. Takoha shouted as suddenly the area around them changed as massive trees came out of the ground and flowers around them started to bloom. Wow, it's so pretty. Ally shouted in awe at the field. With this, all Neo-Nectar monsters gained 200 attack points, but for now, I play another spell card called Flower Maiden Blossom. Takoha shouted as she played another spell, with the artwork with 2 young women coming out of massive flowers. If I have 2 copies of the Neo-Nectar monster in my hand, then I can summon both of them. So, I summoned 2 Neo-Nectar, Pure Maiden, Katrina. Takoha shouted as 2 massive flowers sprouted out of the ground. They slowly opened as 2 young women with pink hair, wearing leaf-like clothing and fairy wings on their backs, appeared kneeling with their eyes closed, then opened them as they stood up, leaped up as the flowers vanished, as both Katrinas landed in front of Takoha. 4 at 1500 def 800, x2. Thanks to my field spell they gained 200 attack points. 4 at 1500 to 1700 def 800, x2. In addition to that, Flower Maiden's Garden gains 1 flower counter for each time I special summon a Neo-Nectar monster. Since I special summon 2, my garden gets 2 flower counters. Takoha shouted as the ruins before 2 buds appeared behind her. Flower counter. 0 to 2. Next my field spell's other effect, I target one Neo-Nectar monster I control, and for the rest of the turn, any monsters that I summon for the rest of this turn count as the summoned monster. So, I target Katrina. Takoha shouted as Naruto narrowed his eyes slightly, while the others on the sidelines except for Kumi were confused. Now I remove the 2 flower counters which allows me to summon a level 7 of 8 Neo-Nectar monster from my hand. Takoha shouted as the buds grew as one of them bloomed into a beautiful red rose, princesses of the everlasting forest, the time has come to bloom. And show the world your beauty. Takoha chanted as the rose bloom a teenage girl kneeling with her eyes closed. Flower counter. 2-0. I summon Neo-Nectar, ranunculus flower maiden, Asha. Takoha shouted as the woman opened her eyes, stood up and leaped off the flower, showing everyone her peerless beauty with pale silver hair, tan skin, soft green eyes, and a voluptuous figure. She wears quite a revealing outfit composed entirely of flowers and plants, primarily red roses. And wields a weapon that seemed to be a cross between a scythe and a hoe. 8 at 2500 to 2700 def 2000. Oh wow. Tate shouted with a blush. She's gorgeous. Ali shouted in agreement. I have shivers. Frederick shouted as he wiggled. Wow, Yaya's breath was taken away by Asha's beauty. Get your mind out of the gutter. Yuzu shouted with a tick mark on her head as she slammed her fan into the back of Yaya's head, slamming him into the ground. Asha's ability. When she's summoned, I get to summon a plant token. Takoha shouted as a plant token appeared with a blue line around it. 1 at 0 to 200 def 0. Don't forget, thanks to my field spell, not only do I get a flower counter, but Asha and the plant token count as Katrina's bloom. Takoha shouted as both Katrina's glowed green. Flower counter. 0 to 1. Bloom? Tate asked. What's that? Yaya asked. I've never heard of it. Yuzu replied. It's a technique that only Neo-Nectar has, it happens whenever a monster with the same name is summoned while on the field, and they get stronger. Kumi answered as both Katrinas gained attack points. 4 at 1700 to 2200 to 2700 def 800, x2. Since I also summoned a plant token and Asha and the token have the same name, Asha blooms. Takoha shouted as Asha glowed green for a bit before it vanished. 8 at 2500 to 3000 def 2000. They stronger than Naruto's monsters. Tate shouted. Yeah, but Takoha only has 1 card left in her hand. Yuzu said. Yeah, it seems like this deck focuses on summoning monsters, but it does reduce the hand very fast. Yaya said. Yeah, and if Takoha loses all of her monsters, then she'll be defenseless. Sora added on licking a lollipop. Kumi smiled, Takoha is well aware of her deck's weakness and she has cards to help her. Kumi replied. I play Nature's Gift. Takoha played a spell as it showed a tree dragon with 3 glowing orbs in between its claws. With this, I draw 1 card for each Neo-Nectar I control with different names. Since I control 3, I draw 3 cards. Takoha drew 3 cards, looked at them, added all 3 to her hand, then pointed at Naruto. Battle. Katrina attack Chronofang Tiger. Takoha shouted as Katrina leaped and flew towards Chronofang. Chronofang raised its arms, but Katrina easily slashed Chronofang creating an explosion, making Naruto shielded himself from the explosion. Naruto. 4300. Now my other Katrina attack Yugioh. The second Katrina swung her sword creating a green crescent of energy slamming into Yugioh creating an explosion as Naruto shielded himself again. Naruto. 3800 to 3300. Asha attacked Naruto directly. Takoha ordered as she pointed at Naruto as Asha raised her scythe hoe and flew towards Naruto as she prepared to slash Naruto. I play the trap, zodiac roll. I roll a 12-sided dice, and depending on what I roll I can summon a zodiac time beast from my deck. Naruto shouted as a dice appeared in front of, he grabbed and threw it as it grew. The dice rolled around until it landed on 2, which also had an ox head on it, since it was 2, I get to summon, Chronobeat Buffalo. Naruto shouted as he grabbed Chronobeat's card from the deck and summoned it as the machinal buffalo appeared and slammed its fists into each other. 6 at 2100 def 1600. DCH, no matter, Beat Buffalo is still weaker than Asha, so slay that ox. Takoha shouted as Asha was right in front of Beat Buffalo and swung her scythe at him. No one is slaying anything. Zodiac roll prevents the monster that was summoned from being destroyed this turn. Naruto shouted as Chronobeat swung its right fist at Asha as it and Asha's scythes slammed into each other, creating a shockwaves that made flower petals scatter around the pair. But you still take damage. Takoha shouted as Naruto grunted a bit. Naruto. 3300 to 2200. I said 1 card face down and end my turn. Takoha shouted as she placed 1 card face down. During the end phase, Katrina and Asha lose their bloom attack point boost. Takoha said as Asha and both Katrinas lost attack points. 8 ac. 3700 def 2000, 4 ac. 2700 to 1700 def 800, x2. Meanwhile in the Leo observation room, Declan and his family watched the duel, they are both playing well. Henrietta said. Indeed, so far, neither of them has made a wrong move yet. Ray said. Yes, and despite their age, they are both dueling to the best of their abilities. Declan agreed. I wonder who will win. Mamoru Anju's sister. Or the second pendulum user with cards never seen before. Henrietta asked more to herself. Let's keep watching. Ray replied as Henrietta and Declan nodded in agreement as they all continued to watch the duel. It's my turn. I draw. Naruto drew his card, looked at it, before he grabbed another card, with Scale 2 Zodiac Time Beast, Chronovoli Rabbit and Scale 9 Zodiac Time Beast, Chrono Dran, I set the pendulum zone. Naruto shouted as he placed his two monsters appeared in the sky in blue pillars, with the number 2 below Chronovoli and the number 9 below Chrono Dran. Now I can summon monsters that are 3 through 8 at the same time. Naruto shouted as Tokoha braced herself. Even though it's amazing, it's still unbelievable that someone other than Yaya can pendulum summon. Kumi said. We did as well, but Naruto also has that ability. Yuzu replied. Pendulum that can shatter the boundaries of time and space. Open the door that leads to the future so that I can crave the path I truly desire. Pendulum summon. Appear my allies. Naruto shouted as 4 rays of light appeared out of a portal. From my extra deck is Chronofang Tiger and Pulsar Tamer Yugioh. 8 at 2500 def 3000, 6 at 2200 def 500. And from my hand is the Tuner Monster, Gear Chronicle, Pulsar Transit Dragon and last, but not least is Zodiac Time Beast Chronoclaw Monkey. Naruto shouted as a blue robot dragon the size of a car appeared. The dragon has gear-like wing structures, sharp talons and a rotor on its chest, and Chronoclaw also appeared. 4 at 1000 def 1200, 6 at 2000 def 1400. The Koha and Kumi were in awe, so this is Pendulum Summon. Tokoha thought to herself amazed as seeing it used against it is so much different than seeing it on the sidelines. Wow, even though I've seen Naruto pendulum summon before it's still amazing to see it. Kumi said. That's for sure. Ali said. Yeah, it's amazing. Tate shouted in excitement. It gives me shivers. Frederick wiggled in joy. Chronoclaw's ability. When it's summoned, well there's another Zodiac Time Beast on the field, he gains 500 attack points. Naruto shouted as Chronoclaw became surrounded by a green aura. 6 at 2000 to 2500 def 1400. Now for Chronovoli's pendulum ability. Since I pendulum summon a Zodiac Time Beast monsters, I target one and that monster can attack directly. I select Chronofang. Naruto shouted as Chronovoli started to dribble an orb of yellow energy before he kicked it as it slammed and absorbed into Chronofang, making him roar. That's bad. Tokoha thought to herself. It's about to get worse, especially when I tune level 6 Chronobeat Buffalo to Transit Dragon. Transit Dragon became 4 green rings as Beat Buffalo flew through the rings as he became 6 green stars. The dragon from the 4th dimension, shine down and wield your blades to correct time and space. Synchro Summon. Gear Chronicle, Epic Maker Dragon. Naruto shouted as a massive machinal bipedal dragon appeared holding 2 massive swords appeared. 10 at 3200 def 2200. That's amazing. The kids shouted amazed by Naruto's new dragon. Battle. Yugioh attacked the Katrina on the right. Naruto shouted as Yugioh dashed towards Katrina and fired a stream of purple energy. Thanks to my Trap Nectar shield. All Neo Nectars cannot be destroyed by battle once per turn and I play my second trap card Neo Nectar, Pollen Protection. Tokoha shouted as her other trap revealed Asha with her arms crossed and her eyes closed with a bunch of flower pollen in front of her, shielding her from an attack from Red Eye's Black Dragon. But this, while I control a Neo Nectar monster, any battle damage I take is halved. Tokoha shouted as the stream of energy slammed into Katarina, making her sequel in pain as Tokoha grunted. Tokoha. 2500 to 2250. Chronoclaw attack Katrina again. Naruto shouted as the mechanical monkey leaped and slammed his right claw under the same Katrina's chin, creating an explosion, destroying her this time and making Tokoha grunt in pain again. Tokoha. 2250 to 1850. After Chronoclaw's attack, I draw 1 card and show it, then I put 1 card in my hand to the bottom of my deck. Naruto shouted as he drew his card, showed it as it was Chronotherapy Hamster, before he added it to his hand and placed the other card he was holding on the bottom. Epic Maker Dragon attack Asha. Naruto shouted as Epic Maker raised its right sword in the sky, he had pointed it at Asha as a blue lightning bolt shot at Asha slamming into her and creating a massive blue explosion. DRRRRRRHHHHH. Tokoha grunted as she shielded herself. Tokoha. 2250 to 1600. Epic Maker's first ability. After it attacks, I draw 3 cards, show them, and then I pick 2 to keep and send 1 card from my hand to the bottom. Naruto drew his 3 cards, showed them, as they are a spell card, a trap card and Chronojet Dragon. Since I drew a zodiac time beast that has a higher level than Yugioh, then Yugioh time leaps. Naruto shouted as a purple portal appeared as Yugioh leaped through it as another Chronofang appeared. 8 at 2500 def 3000. Naruto added 2 of the drawn cards, but he placed a third drawn card on the drew on the bottom. Now for Epic Maker's other effect. If the attack of Epic Maker hits, then I time leap 1 monster on my field. I time leap Chronoclaw. Naruto shouted as Chronoclaw leaped through another purple portal that appeared in front of him as Chronojet flew out of the portal. 8 at 2500 def 2000. Everyone on the sidelines are in awe, but the moves Naruto is making, wow, Naruto is amazing. Tate said. Yeah, he is. Ally agreed. Naruto gets 3 more attacks, and one of them can attack directly. Sora said as he licked his lollipop. Man, Naruto is so good. Yaya said. Yeah, he is. Yuzu agreed. Chronofang, that was just summoned, attack Katrina. Naruto shouted as the second Chronofang engaged his thrusters and flew towards Katrina with his right claw reeled back. When Chronoclaw was a few feet away, he swung his claw as Katrina raised her sword as Chronofang slammed his claw into her sword, creating a massive shockwave that made Tokoha grunt in pain. Chronofang's ability, I draw 2 cards, show them to you, then I put 1 on the bottom. Naruto drew his 2 cards, looked at them, showed them, 1 being a trap and the other Chronotime or Leghorn, then added 1 to his hand and put the other drawn card on the bottom. Tokoha. 1600 to 1200. Chronojet attack Katrina. Naruto shouted as Chronojet engaged his thrusters and flew towards Katrina as Chronofang leaped out of the way, allowing Jet Dragon to uppercut Katarina, making her yell in pain before she exploded. Tokoha. 1200 800. After the attack I draw 2 cards. Naruto drew his 2 card, showed them, 1 being a spell and the other is a trap. He added on to his hand and put the other drawn card on the bottom. Chronofang Tiger attacked Tokoha directly. Naruto shouted as Chronofang engaged his thrusters and flew towards Tokoha ready to strike her. I play Pollen Protection's other effect. By banishing it and you declare a direct attack, that attack is negated. Tokoha shouted as a wall of flower pollen appeared in front of her as Chronofang slammed his claw into the wall, but he didn't get through as he flew away and landed in the middle of Chronojet and the second Chronofang. She survived. Yaya shouted. I set 2 cards face down, during the end phase Epic Maker effect wears off as Chronojet and the time leaped Chronofang both return to the bottom of the deck and Yugioh and Chronoclaw return to the field. Naruto said as 2 cards were placed as Chronojet and the second Chronofang vanished as Yugioh and Chronoclaw appeared. Tokoha cards in hand. 2. Naruto cards in hand. 3. Tokoha sighed in relief when it came her turn again, but smiled, you're really good Naruto. Tokoha said. Naruto smiled, don't sell yourself short over there, you're a great duelist yourself. Naruto replied as Tokoha's smile grew. Thanks, but I think I'm gonna end this. My turn, I draw. Tokoha shouted as she drew her card, looked at it, added it to her hand, and then gestured to the field, with the effect of field spell, all monsters this turn I summon are treated as Asha. Tokoha shouted as a green aura surrounded Asha. I summon Neo Nectar, Blossoming Maiden, Sella. Tokoha slapped a card on her dual disc as young woman wearing silver armor with a pink skirt that looked like flower petals and holding a scythe with vines wrapped around the blade. 4 at 1700 to 1900 def 0. When she is summoned while we both have monsters on our fields, I can discard 1 card from my hand to the graveyard and in exchange I get to summon 2 plant tokens. Tokoha shouted as she sent a card to the graveyard as 2 more plant tokens appeared with the leaf arms crossed. 1 at 0 to 200 def 0. Since I special summon 2 Neo Nectar monsters I get 2 counters. Tokoha shouted as she got 2 more counters. Flower counter. 1 to 3. Don't forget, Sella and the 2 tokens are treated as Asha. So Asha blooms. Tokoha shouted as a green aura surrounded Asha. 8 at 2700 to 4200 def 2000. Asha's other ability. I release 3 monsters to summon an Asha token. So, I release all 3 of my plant tokens. Tokoha shouted as her 3 plant as an Asha token appeared. 1 at def. Naruto and the others were surprised by the new token's attack points are not normal. What determines your token's attack points? Naruto asked as Tokoha smirked. The token's attack and defense points will always become the same as my original Asha's attack and defense points. Tokoha said as the Asha token became surrounded by a green aura. 1 at 4200 def 2000. She has 2 monsters with 4000 attack points. Yaya shouted in shock. Tokoha raised her palm forward, furthermore, Asha blooms once again. Which will increase her attack points in my token. Tokoha shouted as Asha gained a green aura again. 8 at 4200 to 4700 def 2000, 1 at 4200 to 4700 def 2000. Next, I activate the effect of Neo Nectar, Budding Maiden, Diane that's in my hand. While I control a non-token Asha monster, I can special summon her. Takoha shouted as a young woman with red hair tied in buns on the side and wearing flower clothing appeared. 3 at 900 1100 def 1100, Bloom. Takoha shouted as Asha glowed green again. 8 at 4700 to 5200 def 2000, 1 at 4700 to 5200 def 2000. She has 2 monsters with over 5000 attack points. Sora shouted shocked by this. Everyone else apart from Kumi are also shocked by this. Wow, she's really good. Yaya whispered. Now for Diane's other effect, while I control more than 2 Neo Nectars her level is increased by 1 and she counts as a tuner monster for a synchro summon. Takoha shouted as Diane became surrounded by a green aura. 3 to 4 at 1100 def 1100. Everyone apart Kumi were surprised, she counts as a tuner. Yaya shouted in shock. I tune level 4 Diane with level 4 Sella. Takoha shouted as she raised her hand as Diane became 3 green rings, as Sella flew through the rings as she became 4 green stars, the beautiful flower maiden with her trusty dragon steed, bloom into existence and ride to victory. Synchro summon. Appear level 8, Neo Nectar, flower princess of spring, Arborea. Takoha chanted before shouting as a woman in her late 20s wearing flower clothing, holding a staff with vines wrapped it, and riding on top of a white dragon with pink wings with flower patterns on it. 8 at 2600 to 2800 def 2500. Everyone is staring at Takoha's synchro monster in awe, wow Yuzu said. Asha blooms. Takoha shouted. 8 at 5200 to 5700 def 2000, 1 at 5200 to 5700 def 2000. Let's go. Arborea attack Epic Maker. Arborea fired a green beam as the dragon fired stream of white dust as they merged into one. But Epic Maker is stronger. Naruto shouted as, but Takoha merely smirked. You're right it is, but thanks to her ability, Arborea gains 300 for each monster I use to summon her. Takoha shouted as Arborea's body glowed green as the beam grew. 8 at 2800 to 3400 def 2500. Epic raised its swords to shield itself, but they easily broke, then slammed Epic's chest, creating a massive explosion, making Naruto shield himself from the explosion. Naruto. 2200 to 2000. Arborea's other effect, when her attack hits, I can summon a Neo Nectar from my deck, so welcome to the field my second Asha. Takoha shouted as a second Asha appeared with a smile and swung her Hosei around. 8 at 2500 to 2700 def 2000. Naruto grunted at this, Asha's bloom. Takoha shouted as her fist Asha glowed green. 8 at 5700 to 6200 def 2000, 1 at 5700 to 6200 def 2000. She has 2 monsters with 6200 attack points. Yaya shouted. That's crazy. Yuzu shouted. There's no way Naruto can survive these attacks. Sora shouted. My second Asha will attack Yugioh. Takoha shouted as she pointed at Yugioh who flew forward with her Hosei raised as she slashed Yugioh's chest, destroying him and making Naruto grunt. Naruto. 1400. Asha token attack Chronoclaw. Takoha shouted as the Asha token flew towards Chronoclaw with a mechanical monkey bracing itself. If he takes this attack he'll lose. Yaya shouted. Not so fast Takoha. I play the trap, Zodiac convert. Naruto shouted as his trap revealed Chronobeat Buffalo in the background glowing white as the energy is taking the form of Chronothos in front of it. With this, I send 2 Zodiac Time Beast monsters I controlled back into my deck and then I get to summon 2 Zodiac Time Beast from my deck, but I have to summon them in different positions. So, I shuffle Chronoclaw and Chronofang to summon Chronotimer Leghorn in defense mode and Chronojet Dragon in attack mode. Naruto shouted as Chronotimer and Chronojet appeared with a blue line around Timer Leghorn and its wings crossed. That doesn't change anything. Asha token, attack Chronojet Dragon. Takoha shouted as the token flew towards Chronojet. 3 at 500 def 1500, 8 at 2500 def 2000. Chronotimer Leghorn's ability. While it's in Fasup defense mode and another Zodiac Time Beast is targeted for an attack, Chronotimer becomes the new target. Naruto shouted as Chronotimer flew in front of Chronojet as the Asha token slashed it in half, destroying it and creating an expulsion. Doesn't matter, it just means that my first Asha can finish this. Ranunculus Flower Maiden, Asha attack Chronojet Dragon. Takoha shouted as Asha flew towards Chronojet with her Hosei reeled back ready to slash him. This duel isn't over yet. I play the trap, Zodiac Dragon Shield. Naruto shouted as his trap revealed Chronojet and Chronodran, creating a blue shield that is blocking a meteor. Well, I have both Chronojet Dragon and Chronodran on my field, I can negate one attack. Naruto shouted. No way. Takoha shouted as Chronojet created a blue shield as Asha slammed her hoe into it, but she didn't get through it as she was sent back and landed back to her duelist side. He survived. Yaya shouted as everyone but Kumi cheered since the latter was in shock that Naruto survived all of Takoha's attacks, even she has never been able to do that. After the attack, I get to draw a card. Naruto said as he drew an extra card. Takoha gritted her teeth before sighing in defeat, I end my turn. During the end phase, Asha's attack points returned to normal. 8 at 6200 to 2700 def 2000, 1 at 6200 to 2700 def 2000. Naruto felt bad for how defeated Takoha sounded, hey don't feel bad Takoha. Naruto said gaining her attention and saw him smiling, you should be proud, you are a really talented and amazing duelist Takoha. Naruto said with a smile making Takoha blush at that. Thank you. Takoha replied a bit embarrassed. But sadly, it's time to end this. My turn, draw. Naruto shouted as he drew his card, looked at it, smiled at the card, then turned to Takoha and raised his hand above him, open the door that leads to the future, so that I can crave the path I truly desire with my allies. I pendulum summon. Naruto shouted as 4 beams of light shot out of the portal. From my extra deck is, Lugal Urine Chronobeat Buffalo. From my hand is Zodiac Time Beast, Chronotherapy Hamster and Chronocharge Unicorn. Naruto shouted as his 4 monsters appeared with Chronojet in the middle with his arms crossed. 6 at 2200 def 500, 6 at 2100 def 1600, 3 at 100 def 1500, 4 at 1400 def 800. Takoha braced herself, but still had a smile on her face, with Hamster's ability, when it's pendulum summoned, I gain 500 for each Zodiac Time Beast with a different name on my field, since I have 6, I gain 3000 life points. Naruto shouted as Therapy Master flung a golden sphere into the air that burst and showered Naruto with golden sparkles. Naruto. 1400 to 4400. Takoha's eyes widen in shock since Naruto has more life points than they started out with. In addition, Chronocharge's ability, when he's special summoned while I control another Zodiac Time Beast monster, all other Zodiac Time Beast gain 1000 attack points. Naruto shouted as Chronocharge fired a lightning bolt into the sky before it came back down split into 3 and slammed into Chronojet, Chronobeat and Chronotherapy. 8 at 2500 to 3500 def 2000, 6 at 2100 to 3100 def 1600, 3 at 100 1100 def 1500. Takoha gasped in shock before smirking, bring it Naruto. Takoha challenged as the first Asha readied herself. Naruto smirked, with pleasure. Battle. Chronojet attack Ranunculus Flower Maiden, Asha. Naruto shouted as Chronojet engaged his thrusters and flew towards Asha with his fist reeled back. Go Asha. Takoha shouted as Asha flew towards the incoming Chronojet while holding Hosai at front. When the two were close to each other, Asha spun around as Chronojet swung his fist as the two clashed creating a massive explosion that made flower petals burst around them and creating sparks. The two struggled, but Chronojet lifted his fist up knocking Asha's scythe away as he then slammed his left fist under Asha's chin, sending her flying before she exploded as Takoha closed her eyes with her smile still on her face. Takoha. 800-0. Winner. Naruto. Well that was very impressive. Henrietta remarked. Very, Claude. Declan addressed. Yes, Claude replied. Please register Naruto Uzumaki and Takoha Anju as a Lancer candidates and prepare a slot for them in the upcoming Arc League Championship. Declan ordered surprising his mother. Her son considered this bit Lancer material, true he possessed abilities that would be greatly valued, but his background was still unknown which she didn't like if there was one thing she hated it was not knowing anything. Henrietta then took notice of Ray staring at the boy on the screen. Something catch your attention? Henrietta asked. He was holding back, I have a feeling he hasn't shown everything he's capable of. Ray remarked. Oh? Henrietta said. She's right in his duel against Sylvio I could see he wasn't putting much effort into that match as well. It may take stronger opponents to get him to reveal his true abilities to us, but when that time comes I feel he won't fail to disappoint. Declan said. Takoha. Kumi shouted running over to her friend. You were great out there, your duel had me on the edge of my seat. But you were standing up. Frederick said. Not the point Frederick, the point is that duel was amazing, your Neo Nectar deck has gotten a lot better since last time we saw it. Yuzu said. Thanks Yuzu. Takoha said. That was absolutely amazing I can't believe we now have 2 duelists who can do pendulum summoning your show's gonna take the world by storm. Shuzo cheered with burning flames in his eyes. Sorry sir, but I'm not interested in joining any duel school. Naruto said shocking everyone. Why? Shuzo wailed falling to his knees. But why? Is there something wrong with you Sho? Yuzu asked. Nah nothing at all, it's just I'm not looking to join any schools or the moment. I'm wandering duelist and I'm only here for the tournament. Once it's over I'll be out of here. Naruto said. So I don't see the reason to join a duel school, plus I kinda like being a free agent. I guess that makes sense. Yuzu said. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't mind helping you guys out here at your school. Naruto said. Really? The kid said excitedly with shimmering eyes. Yeah, it looks to me like you guys all still have a lot to learn about dueling and I wouldn't mind showing a few things. Naruto said. That'd be great. You could be like a special part-time teacher. Ally said. If you guys are looking for new students I wouldn't mind joining. Takoha said, surprising everyone save Naruto. For real, but I would have thought you'd choose a school like Leo. Yaya said. Takoha shook her head. No way, I never liked the elitist snobs who attend that school. I've had offers but turned them down. Besides, my brother admired Yosho Sakaki, so I don't see why not. Takoha said. If Takoha's joining then so am I. Kumi said, raising her hand up. Shuzo jumped back to his feet with stars in his eyes. 2 new students in one day. ITS, miracle. He cried in joy. Wow, he must really be desperate for students. Takoha whispered to Yuzu. You have no idea. Yuzu said. What if Naruto Yugioh arc V and Yugioh end here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.